And don't act like you don't know what I mean, because every time is our time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people all over the world, welcome to the Ringside Rap presented by the good people at the Nefarious Media Network. So don't act like you don't know what we mean, because every time is our time. Get off the loop, Ray Williams. Welcome. I am your host, one of your hosts, man, because we got a lot of people on this episode to talk about a very eventful night in the WWE. So let's not waste any time. I'm the Godfather Nate Milton, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. Wei Ting verified that statement on Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. So 10 years in the game, over 10 years in the game, not a whole lot has changed. And I'm joined by my tag team partner, the mayor pro tem of Los Angeles, California, the mastermind behind the Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers trade. Y'all give it up for the professor himself, Chris from LA. Can we rock? What's up, Doc?
Hey, what's up, yo? So I don't know if y'all could see my wall good, but I had to take down the Davis jersey. This is now a throwback jersey. So yeah, I'm all on board. It took the Nike people long enough to get me the Doncic jersey, but
Jenny Buss couldn't get you to hook up on that one, Chris.
I tried. I was like, I tried to call Jay Moore. He's like, yo, what's up with your woman, man? Can she hook it up? I tried to reach Jeannie Buss.
Hey, she busy, man. She out here on these wrestling streets producing this wild.
She on the wrestling streets. They got that Netflix show. She's executive producing. She's doing her humanitarian work. So she ain't got time for your mans no more. So, but the other new era outside of the Doncic era is this John Cena era that I am looking forward to chopping it up with y'all about, man. Because not only did I call this shit, but we're going to talk about why I believe this is a good move. I do not see how you mess this up. I don't even think Triple H, who I am not always the biggest fan of, I don't think he could fuck this up if he tried. So.
All right, well, we will see. We will put that to the test in the weeks and months to come. But let's bring on the third member of the crew joining us this afternoon. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. We will never take his jersey down out the rafters because he went from a 10-day, Chris, to a full 2-way contract. Y'all give it up, this man, the super producer. Some call him the Caitlin Clark of production, a.k.a. Caitlin Dark. This man, 2-way Ray Williams. Ray, what's good, brother? I know you're going through some things, Ray. Your childhood hero has betrayed you. You and R-Truth was probably in the group chat last night, man, trying to console each other. How you feeling today, man?
I mean, I'm all right. I let it settle in a little bit more, but yeah. R-Truth, his childhood hero John Cena, along with Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas, which he was talking about on SmackDown. So I don't know if all of them people were in the same era at the same time, but I guess so in R-Truth's mind. But we're going to talk about it. I thought it was a terrific show from beginning to end. And is of course it's fitting, good doctor, that you got on the Mortal Kombat, because we were talking about souls being snatched, and it looks like John Cena is turned over to the dark side. He's turned over to the Shao Kahn of the WWE, or the Shang Tsung rather. WWE.
Yeah, not only did we have souls being snatched on Saturday, but we had wigs being snatched as well, because we had a big return at the Elimination Chamber. We're going to get into that as well, folks. But we have two new members of the team, the Nefarious Media Network team. And one gentleman y'all are familiar with. He was on the Kings of Sport a few weeks ago. And then our next gentleman is a first-timer, but it will not be his last time, not by a long shot. So let's bring on returning guest, a returning host, co-host, should I say. He already got a promotion. Like, that's amazing. It's that black nepotism. It's that good old black nepotism, Ray. But y'all know this brother from his appearance on the Kings of Sport a few weeks ago, where he just, kind of broke things down, and it was a wonderful time chopping it up with this cat. And so he has joined the Nefarious crew. So y'all give it up for our man downtown, at least this week, we should say out of town, Brown, because he was actually in Toronto for Elimination Chamber. So we definitely have to hear his thoughts of the live event. Downtown Brown, what's good, brother?
How you doing, man? I'm doing pretty good, and out of town Brown, I'll take it. It's just a different downtown. I switched downtowns. Not Mr. Worldwide yet, but we working on that. So, but no, man, it was a great weekend to come back from. Toronto had a lot of different things going on, from meet and greets to the shop, to also Chris Van Vliet had a podcast with Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. So to be able to partake of all of those different things going on in the city was very interesting.
I saw your IG, brother. So I guess the Hurt Syndicate has finally found their fourth member.
Hey. And I actually have something from that podcast that they also brought up about a fourth member, so we can touch on that a little bit later too. So
nice.
Awesome stuff, man. Can't wait.
But we not only have 4 members here today, y'all. We got 5. It's like Big E used to say, "I need 5."
Yeah, 3 ain't enough, man.
3 ain't enough. 4 ain't enough, Chris. We need 5 to talk about this monumentous Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I still call them pay-per-views, man. I don't give a damn. My mama called it a pay-per-view. I'm gonna call it a pay-per-view.
Same here.
So, 5th member making his first appearance here on the Nefarious Media Network. Y'all give it up for this brother who we are excited to talk all things Graps with this week. Give it up for Jay Smooth, Jay Lacey in the building.
Lord have mercy. How you guys doing? Thank you, fellas. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for the invite. I can't wait to get into this because, wow, what a PLE to get into and break down. I'm excited to be here, so let's go.
Yeah, So, Chris, you are the esteemed professor here. You are the man that predicted this. I think, because we could go in order of the events of the night, but I feel like we all know what we want to start talking about.
Right.
Indeed.
This man, Travis Scott, of course. That's where we want to start the conversation this evening. But no, seriously, John Cena, finally, on his final run, Ray Williams, takes up The Rock's offer, takes up the final boss's offer, turns heel, winning the Elimination Chamber and turning heel on Cody Rhodes, setting up the main event for night 2 of WrestleMania. Chris, you called it, man. You called it when so many of us doubted. I think I had a moment maybe 5 minutes before it actually happened where it was like, oh, they're doing this. Mm-hmm. And then it happened. But Chris, you were somebody who was out on this limb before any of us. So what did you think about how it was executed on Saturday night?
I thought it was executed very well because when I was watching it with I forgotten that Cody was supposed to accept The Rock's offer or turn it down that night. I watched. I didn't come in at the beginning of the pay-per-view. I came in like towards the middle of it. I completely forgot there was a segment that was coming after the show. Because that segment was the main event. It wasn't the match. It wasn't the Elimination Chamber match. And then when Cena didn't leave the ring to when Cody was talking to The Rock, I was like, oh, this is about to go down. I said to my wife, she was sitting right next to me, she's in the other room, she could vouch. I was like, this dude's about to go bad, and he's about to attack this dude, man. Cena was like, yo, Cody, I don't want the check. Hey, how big is this check you cutting? Because my soul is for sale, yo. And to the highest bidder, and that's what he did. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if The Rock is responsible for Cena being on this bus in Los Angeles that I saw with the McDonald's logo in the back of it. I don't know if he's responsible for that McDonald's commercial where Cena's promoting this new value bill, but it's really coincidental that fast, and I'm seeing this nigga on McDonald's commercial all over the fucking place. And they say he went to the Africa to film a movie. One of those country in Africa he went to, if he even went to Africa, if this is a red herring for something else. But yeah,
now you don't believe anything that this man say, Chris.
You can't believe a goddamn thing Cena says.
Damn, so quickly.
He's proven himself to be untrustworthy, man. Like I was saying on True Hill Heat yesterday, I'm not even sure he's gonna retire exactly when he says he's gonna retire. I know he's gonna retire. I could see him staying until next year's Royal Rumble, maybe not next year's WrestleMania, but just to tell a complete story for like a year. I could see him letting this thing. I could see him cutting a promo saying, "Look, I do what I want to do when I want to do it," and blah blah blah. That thumbnail that y'all put up for this show, it encapsulates the weekend perfectly, man. that is a goon squad. I know I've used that term a lot. That is a fucking goon squad, man. It was Travis Scott. I'm not even sure if it was in the script for that fool to be getting those kind of punches on Cody.
Nah, that punch looked kind of real.
Yeah. But hey, in Travis Scott's defense, if I was in the ring and I saw Cody Rhodes, or if I saw The Rock beating down Cody Rhodes, and I saw Cena beating down Cody Rhodes, I gotta get my lick in, man. I gotta get one. I gotta get at least one.
At least learn how to work a punch first, brother.
Right. I know. You know real punches, man. It's like fuck this work shit. Like, I'm gonna show you how we do it in Houston, Texas. This is how we do real punches, yo. I ain't mad at it, but it was a great thing to see. Like I said, I haven't got apologies from everybody. I would like Pollock and Pollock to kiss the ring now, because he was the main one saying, "Oh, that's never gonna happen."
Shots fired at Joe Pope.
Shots fired at the boss, the proprietor of Post Wrestling. There's no risk in this. There really isn't. When you really think about it, I was looking at because I get Thurston's monthly quarterly reports. I get those things every month, and I pay for them. He's my boy, but I still pay for him. John Cena is not the top merchandise mover in WWE. John Cena is not the top guy in WWE. The story they've been telling is he's been on a losing streak. He needs to win. He just muscled himself into the Elimination Chamber. He didn't fight a match to get in there. He just muscled his way in there. He's like, yeah, I'm doing this. That was a breadcrumb. That was a breadcrumb he dropped. And then they were good with dropping breadcrumbs. Now, someone asked me, does this heel turn make up for that god-awful SmackDown that The Rock was on a couple weeks ago? No, I don't think it does that. It does legitimize it a little bit more, but that's 3 hours of my life I ain't ever getting back. I can't forgive that easily. But The Rock is a pro. I mean, I think the heel turn was in the making. I don't think because that's been the online debate did The Rock just come up with this because he bombed on SmackDown, or was this in the making? I believe it was in the making because I've been looking at the breadcrumbs being dropped, and I do think they did a good job with dropping the breadcrumbs. So that's my rant. I will be taking more shots at people who were telling me I was on crack or I didn't know what I was talking about. But you can't tell me that this isn't what's best for business.
So stay tuned, audience, for more of the Chris Ely Revenge Tour. It ain't stopping no time soon. Ray, I'm going to skip you for a second because, like, I want to know, we were in Toronto, or this show was in Toronto, right. home of a 169 God, if you will. And I feel like the spirit of Drake inhabited Cena in that moment. He's like, I got to go bad. So, Gerard, when you were in the building, man, like, what did that moment, like, how did that moment come across live? Because I know just watching it at home, I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to follow up with this. I don't trust Triple H's booking 100%. Like, it could fall apart, but I just, this moment in a vacuum, it was perfect to me. How did it play in the building?
So leading up to this moment, I knew that since we're going to main event with this, it's ending the night, it was something big has to happen. But right. What is Cody going to do? Because to me, Cody's prolonged this long enough. If you take too long, if he has a shifty answer, it could hurt his babyface character going forward. You need to give him something justified. That, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. That sent the whole building wild.
Yes.
But prior to that, you look at it, and I think I was recording on my phone while looking at the ring. I was just like, hey, yo, why is Cena still here?
Yeah, right.
Time to bounce, my dog. We shouldn't see you. But we do. And then, yet he stays here the whole time and he's yucking it up. And I'm like, okay, would they though? Because like it's the unicorn that's always just everybody's wanted. And then once it actually happened and he hugged him, the hug was just weird. And it was like, okay. And you're looking at his face shift. And I'm close enough. I was blessed enough to get some decent seats that I could see his face shift a little bit. And then I just slightly looked up to see the Tron, and you could see the seriousness on his face. And right in time for Rock to go like this. And it was electrifying. I hate to say it like that, but it was like you could feel everybody in the building.
That's the only thing that encapsulates. So you're good.
Like a ticking time bomb was about to go off, and something else bigger was coming from it. The perfect executed dick kick, the beat down, the look between him and Rock. I don't know what Travis was doing in the back. He was throwing up the smoke like LeBron. Who knows? But he was excited to be there. I would have been too if I was front row for that. So I would have been get a lick in on Cody. Hey, why not? I'm front row for it. Hey, be a part of the show. But this shifts the whole scene for that main event. I thought it was going to be Cody and Cena no matter what. And I thought the path was always going to be through the chamber. I thought it was going to be what Cody wanted. This almost babyface passing of the torch, WrestleMania 28, 29 moment like Cena had with The Rock. But instead, Cena didn't need it back then. He was already made. And you could say Cody is too, but that additional chip onto Cody's belt, it would just make him even better. But now to have it with a heel Cena, you gave Cody a big enough little rift in his babyface character, but now he's standing strong, staying to his values. And hey, keep my daddy name out your mouth. I ask all this because this is the biggest question I came from this. Does Cena need to win at Mania? I think he's going to win 17 no matter what.
Yeah.
But do we want to have a character arc of I go bad because we don't have PEDs in WWE, but I'm gonna take this check from this chance from The Rock as like a performance enhancing ability to get far ahead in my career and to reach what I want, which is that title, number 17. And then I fail. Oh, I did it wrong, kids. I shouldn't have did it that way. You know what? I'm gonna do the honest, earnest way, go through King of the Ring, fight my way back, climb that mountain, and then become the hero that everybody expects me to be and win 17 at SummerSlam? Or do we go corporate Cena and do we just have a fun run with him?
Yeah.
I like what you said, Chris, because in my head I was going to ask, did he lie to us? Is this really going to be just a year? Maybe Toronto, that is it for Toronto. Maybe that's it for Indy. But maybe we go past the year because I do what I want. I'm collecting the check. I'm the champ. And then we draw this out for somebody else to beat him down the line. Maybe a Braun Breaker at WrestleMania 43 to then have him be crowned as a bigger moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you all think?
I think when you look at it, Gerard, like there's a couple ways they could go, and there's really no wrong way, because they could do that storyline that you proposed, and I think that'd be a great story. Like if he fails and just like, yeah, I failed because I didn't do it the right way. And I'm going to go out as the hero. But I also think there's a lot of mileage in Cena winning by hook or by crook at Mania. And then we get this prolonged, even though it's truncated because it's not what we would have gotten back in 2011. But we get this, decent run of Cena as a heel before ultimately, however they work it, he goes out as the hero because that's in game on this whole thing. But I think we're going to have some fun with it. Like I talked with Wade on Saturday, like they should really play it up. Corporate Cena, like do the Make-A-Wish, but call it Break-A-Wish. And he's tearing down kids' dreams and stuff like that. Like just go lean into it. And then something happens maybe, 7-8 months from now where Cena's like, this ain't who I am. And that's what forces the change. But yeah, I don't think there's a way. It's impossible. I'm not going to say it's impossible because you never say never in pro wrestling. But to me, it is very, very difficult to screw this up with the elements that you have, the pieces you have with Cody, with Rock, all these cats. It's very difficult to screw it up. So let's go to Jay, main event. Jay in the building. Jay, yeet or no yeet on the Cena heel turn?
Oh, we yeeting on this one. Woo, we've been waiting for this. This is what the game needed. I mean, like for real. Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect, ain't nothing changed. He hustled everybody. He's loyal to himself, and he have to get that respect. That's number 17. So why not? Why not take the Rock's offer and be like, hey, look, I need this bad. I need this more than anybody. Cody, if I got to go through you, this is what we got to do, baby. So it is what it is. I mean, to see like Cena's face just go from jovial all the way just to blank. I mean, you saw Travis Scott with that sage in the corner, whatever. I mean, Cena went demon time. That's what that was. I mean, so I was really enjoying it. I mean, this was one of those moments like if my son was, I mean, he's older now, but if he was a little kid watching this, he would have been in tears like, yes, be my hero. That's one of these moments. This is a seismic moment. I mean, when you got mainstream outlets talking about this very moment we saw on Saturday night, like First Take talking about it in the morning saying, hey, look, what do y'all think about this? You on to something.
Shannon Sharp cutting promos on John Cena.
Exactly. So
John, I see you at Summerfest, John. SummerSlam.
Yeah. It goes all the way back to that. So, I mean, like when you got mainstream talking about this, you shifted the culture. So,
right.
Kudos, man.
And that is a cultural shift too.
Yes, like it's front page news. Like even though wrestling, we tend to think of it in this bubble, which it is a lot of times. But when events like this happen, it does penetrate and permeate. Because a lot of these people in these positions at these networks, our fans are used to be fans, and so when they do something well, like they did on Saturday night, it kind of at least for one night or 1 week rekindles that spark.
The Rock, every time there's about to be some kind of heel turn, he always does a signal. With the Nation, he did the eyebrow, and that was okay. Let's beat down Farouk. And then with what's his name? When he joined the corporation, there was a signal between him and Vince McMahon, and then they beat down Mick Foley. And then the signal on Saturday. He had the 3, he had the 2, Then he had the one, and that was great, man. I just liked it. And I like that they milked the moment. The Rock didn't say anything. He didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
His body language said everything. The 3, 2, 1, that said everything. He said more by saying less. And if you were in Toronto and you went to that, then you went to a more culturally significant moment, in a moment, more impactful moment than whatever they're going to do at WrestleMania. Because that heel turn was 20-some years in the making, 22 years in the making, I believe.
Yeah. And to your point, Chris, like everybody did play their part. Everybody knew their role, so to speak. And like even with Cena, with the beatdown, one of the things I liked is there was no trash talk. It was, and when Cena acknowledged Rock's signal, it wasn't this joyous, like, oh yeah, now I get to be bad. It was kind of like resignation, like, hey, got to do what I got to do, kid. Sucks for you. And then he put the boots to Cody. So Ray, we're going to get your thoughts here in a second, but I want to let the audience know. I want to speak to the people because if you're a member of the Nefarious Media Patreon, you can join us in this conversation. If you have thoughts on Elimination Chamber, any of the matches, have thoughts specifically about this heel turn of John Cena that a lot of folks have been waiting for so long, you can join us in the chat, and Ray will bring you up. And I know we've got somebody at the door we're going to get to here in a little bit. But before we bring on our patron, Ray, what were your thoughts? I know, like I said, man, it was a traumatic night for people like you and R-Truth, man. When your heroes, fall off like that, man. What did you make of the real main event of Elimination Chamber 2025?
All right, well, first off, I hate the internet now. It's like, and I'm not even talking about, and I'm basically talking about spoilers, and I'm not even talking about people on social media because people are going to do what they want to do. Right. I'm talking about the WWE itself. Because let me explain real quick. I think it was 2020 Royal Rumble. Edge came back. You know how I found out? It wasn't through the dirt sheets. It wasn't through social media. WWE posts full clips now on YouTube. And I remember back in the day where they didn't even show like the clip. They'll show like the pictures and they'll have like the audio underneath. It's like, we need to go back to time. Like, we got to keep kayfabe, guys. I know. Come on now. Let the people pay to see this stuff. Don't give it away for free. Then my dream of Edge returning was spoiled because I saw it up on YouTube, posted directly by WWE. So fast forward, I haven't gotten a chance to see much of Elimination Chamber yet, but of course, I go on YouTube. And they got like the pictures, the photos of him with the scowl as he's hugging. And so I'm like, come on, get it together.
If they showed that shit on the 6 o'clock news in my town. In their defense.
I mean, yeah. Hold on, Ray. Because Gerard knows, like a few episodes ago, you was criticizing me for being a human being and having to use the restroom during WrestleMania and missing that whole Sheamus Daniel Bryan debacle. Now the tables have turned, brother, because you knew Cena and Rock and Cody were going to be the closing segment. You might not have known Cena was in it, but you knew something was going to happen. So that's a you thing, Ray Williams. You should have stayed off the damn internet, Ray.
That's the thing, though. I stay off of social media. I stay off all those places. Come on. Your boy want to watch some food challenge videos, and yet in my doggone view, WWE.
Don't blame WWE, blame your algorithm, Ray.
I'm trying to watch these video game collections, and doggone WWE just popped.
So did knowing what was going to happen, did that make the moment less impactful?
I mean, not really, because I kind of wanted to see how it was going to play out. That's our favorite saying. Shout out,
play out, Ray.
Let it play out. But I was kind of on the same. I was kind of on the same wavelength as a Professor. I think once I saw I saw that the press conference after the Royal Rumble that John was attending and was the guest at, and he said something specific. Let me go ahead and pull up the clip, or not the clip, but pull up the
Yeah,
quote.
we ain't got the rights to the clip, dog.
I ain't gonna get us in trouble. I already
already started
tested my
with
luck
Pollock, man.
Yeah, I already test my luck on NWA when I'm playing the money songs like the Shane McMahon song. But he said, I don't know how much I have left in the tank, but I just wanted to do something that would be nice for us all to get together and have a good time. Unfortunately, it dawned on me that that's not best for business. What's best for business is that I main event WrestleMania. I wonder where we heard that particular phrase, best for businesses. So that kind of had my mind swirling. It was like, oh, is this brother going to go ahead on the dark side? But then all this stuff with The Rock was kind of going out with Cody, and I knew for a fact Cody wasn't turning. And so I was kind of like, let me see. And of course, I get spoiled a little bit. So I was like, let me see how this fully turns out, because it only had like the picture of the hug. So I didn't see how it fully went through. And of course, hindsight is 2020. All these people in the background. Of course, you got your boy Karrion Kross. Every time somebody turned bad, he always like, I told you. I wish y'all would have listened. I told you. And then all these clips like the Bray Wyatt with the stuff going on up to that WrestleMania, all those clips kind of resurfaced. And so everybody's all like, they're trying to be like, where were the breadcrumbs? Now, how did we see? We should have seen this happen. But I thought it was entertaining. I think the biggest thing, and you mentioned Chris Van Vliet, Gerard. There was a clip of the interview that John Cena did with Chris Van Vliet, where he's talking about how he would have turned heel back in 2012, and how it's not just about oh, I'm a good guy now, I'm a bad guy now. He was like, I have to change my entire persona, the opposite of what I was showing before. And so I have to do this, and this. So I think, like you said, Chris, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and to see if they give John the latitude to kind of like not just be a standard bad guy, not just be like Hogan, like Hollywood Hogan, where he still has everything else. He just wears black now instead of red and yellow. But if he actually shifts his character, and if it actually becomes fully dimensional, because I think that's all people really wanted. It wasn't that, oh, we want to see Cena become a bad guy. It's like, we need to see layers to this guy, because all he ever shows us is hustle, loyalty, respect. I do the right thing. I'm all here with these Make-A-Wish kids. I'm the good guy. Like we never see real layers. And then when we start to see real layers, he just reverts back to the jokey, telling jokes or rapping and all that other stuff. Like we never really see him sit with things. Like I think the last time we really saw him sit with something was when he had that loss in his first match against The Rock at WrestleMania 27. So I think it'll be really interesting, especially with him. Like I want to see, and I think this will show his depth as an actor as well. Like we already see, like he kind of turned heel as Peacemaker. So we'll see how him turning heel as a WWE character will play out, or will, yeah. I don't know what
we gonna see, because I think there's like, and again, I'm kind of in line with Downtown, where I feel like we'll get a corporatized version of Cena, who's like the opposite of hustle is I'm lazy because I got it made. The opposite of loyalty is I don't give a damn about y'all because I'm paid. The opposite of respect is I'm disrespecting you because I'm throwing shade. I just had to find some way to complete the rhyme there, right? It didn't really fit, but y'all know what I'm saying. But I feel like that's the step I want to see, and that's why I think we're going to have a long extended run, for as long as he's around until the very end, where he is this heel Cena. And I think if they do what they have the potential to do, it's going to be very entertaining. But Ray, you said we got a guest at the door.
Oh, we do, but I do want to answer Gerard's question real quick. I do think he has to win the championship. He has to win the championship at WrestleMania. If you do all this, especially people were looking forward to this for doggone 20 years, like you got to put the belt on.
Well, not only that, Ray, but and I said it to Wei Ting when we did the post show over at Post Wrestling Saturday night. Like, you can't do all of this and have Cena lose, because then he's no better than Solo Sikoa. Like, he's another one of the Rock flunkies that failed, and John Cena ain't no damn Solo Sikoa. Plus, this gives Cody some more adversity, and I think adversity is always good for your baby faces.
The Solo Sikoa shade. The strays that Solo catches.
Say, poor Solo, man. He's taking it all. Let that man take a break. Okay. Come on,
but
man.
You did mention
Nate,
we do.
Like,
go ahead.
Real quick, Professor, you had a good point. That countdown, it was a ticking time bomb.
Right.
And here's the thing that people are like, I think The Rock's poor acting, which has been probably my biggest concern in this, like, stop trying to just improv, my man.
Right.
Run your lines. Just run them. He did this at Bad Blood. He did the count. That was the start of the count at Bad Blood. And if you really hold that up and think about it, that is Cena's thing. Like, then you just double. It's Cena's thing. So if he was symbolizing, hey, that was in October. Cena already in July. I was there at Scotiabank when he came out and said, hey, we're going to retire. I'm going to retire, and I'm starting this from this day forward. And then he just disappeared on us until the Rumble when he showed up. And then he said, I'm good. I'm going to see you at Chamber. Got to go. Yeah. So he's been kind of being a heel he's been doing his whole gimmick the whole time. So the time bomb of it, like, okay, Cody, you messed up and you broke my heart again. Like, it seems like it's been really booked out since in the last Mania, and it's been a year-long story, but I don't know. The Rock's acting is just
it's not great.
Between the acting and then and again, I think if this was the plan long term, then they should have done something different at that first Raw on Netflix, where he kind of completely abandoned the character and he's all buddy with Cody. Like, there should have been something. And again, just one simple line of, hey, Cody, we got unfinished business, but we on neutral grounds tonight because we in front of our corporate partners. Like, something just that explains that their story is not done. But it felt like that was the end of it. And then we get to that weird soul promo on SmackDown. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
It was that promo was not good. There's no matter how you slice it. But I mean, I think now we can kind of look back at everything and start making sense of, like, Cena's losing streak was ridiculous. I mean, I knew things were off when he came back at that WrestleMania and was goofing off and acting like a dork when he fought the Undertaker. And I was like, okay, this guy is clearly telling us he's got a post-wrestling career and this shit doesn't mean anything to him, right? And then he comes back a couple years ago and loses to motherfucking Austin Theory. I'm never gonna get over that. That to this day makes no sense. So now he can come back. He doesn't even have to get all the wins back anymore, because that was my whole thing too. The problem with bringing him back as a face is it's boring and it's been done to death. You cannot do anything else with John Cena in WWE as a face. My whole thing with guys that are like leaving companies, I always say the best time to make the switch from AEW to WWE or WWE to AEW is if you've done everything you could in that company as a heel and a face and there's nothing left for you to do. John Cena did everything in WWE as a face. He really as his heel character was getting hot in 2003, they did start turning him face. That's what was getting him to turn face. Yeah. And then when they turned him face, they took away all the stuff that made him cool and turned him into this corporate shill of a champion, gave him all the bright colored Fruity Pebbles shirts, just had him being like everything that like a regular everyman hates about corporate America. It reminded me of that episode of Martin where Gina becomes his program director, and she takes his show Word on the Street and turns Martin into a geek and all that. So and then he sells out. That's what Cena was for all this time. It was just like, and you looked at Cena for decades and you're like, nobody is this fucking jovial. No one is this happy. No one is this, and then now now you get the chance to see the human side of him. You get to see what kind of business it's going to run. And I think heel shirts, yeah, the kids buy that stuff. I promise you adults, me being one of them, is going to buy his merch as this character. You can't undersell that.
Yeah, and I think they picked the right time to do it because the audience, and I'm speaking of us, not the kids, so to, more so, but the audience in our age range, we were the people that were sick and tired of John Cena at a certain point. Yeah, and now it's been so long that we actually respect and love this dude, and so now, instead of going out as the babyface, even though I do think he will end up going out as the babyface when it's done, like they picked the perfect time to flip that switch. And now it's like, oh, dog, just when we were starting to love you, man, now you're going to do this to our man Devontae out here. And so, yeah, it's the way they executed it. Again, people can, do the timeline of when they think this started, how long this started. I am not willing to give Triple H that much credit. I'll give Rock and Cody and Cena credit for coming up with a story, but it's just a matter of how it plays out, Ray.
Yes, indeed. Of course, always. Let's let it play out, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and actually allow somebody else, because you did put the call of action out there, brother Nate, and you wanted those who follow us and who are members of the Patreon.
Patreon.com/nefarious media.
Tell them
$5 gets you in the door. If you want to pay more, we won't stop you. It's a free country for now.
$50 to get you 60 million.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, let's not get. I know Chris could go on.
We're gonna start flipping houses like DJ Envy. Keep it coming, y'all.
But yeah, if you're already a paid member, and we appreciate y'all who are already paid members, you guys got links earlier on today that will let you come with us, come right on through the door, knock on the door first, and then we got to look through the people.
You just can't walk in.
Yeah. We'll have you sitting outside.
Ray is producer / bouncer.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, and we'll let you on. So, and one person has decided to take the challenge, go ahead and answer the call. And this brother was also live at the show on Saturday, and a witness to his children crying at the time.
Oh, wow.
So we'll go ahead and learn it on. And please let me know if I'm butchering your name, brother Mark. Mark LaFerriere. Mark LaFerriere.
Good enough. LaFerriere. Yeah. No, my kids didn't cry. My kids are cool. The other kids cried. I saw lots of kids crying. But not mine. My son actually has been wearing a different John Cena shirt every day since the heel turn. And he's 7. So he proudly wore it to school today because my kids are cool. They get it. They cried when Edge had his last WWE match and we were at Scotiabank. They were sad about that. And then the next year we got to see him win the title against Christian at AEW, and they get it, right? But they loved that he was there. They loved that he won, and then they loved that they were part of this turn, right? And they were talking about being historic. But I thought it was cool. And my kids are huge Cody fans. We're all huge Cody fans here. So it was kind of cool to watch that. Like they've been buzzing for the last 2 days. So have I, but it was a lot. But I'm the way you talk about The Rock saying his heart was broken by Cody. I don't want this to happen, but I'm going to break all your hearts right now because I don't think the 1, 2, 3 is what you think it is. I think the 1 is Rock, the 2 is Cena, and the 3 is Hulk Hogan. And I think you're going to see Hogan. I know. I don't want it.
My God.
I don't want it. One other thing my kids know.
Nice talking to you, Mark.
It's not what I want. It's not what I want. But I actually think this is where they're going to go, and I think they're going to use the real heat that Hogan deserves, that Hogan has earned. And like I said, my 7-year-old son's like, we say brother to each other. He goes, not like Hulk Hogan though, right? Like we know Hogan's a bad man. But I think they're going to do that as this like Legends Hollywood triumvirate type thing, and they're going to do it so that Hogan can shit on Dusty, so Hogan can shoot on Dusty. But I think it's to the end game of they've done this other awesome thing that I don't think people have talked about enough, which is how Cody has had no friends, right? And this is why he's in this situation, because he was a guy with all these friends. Just last year at Mania, it's the ring's full of his friends. They're all gone, right? They're all either busy because of him or the bloodline. He's lost his friendships and all that stuff. The only people left would be anti-authority people, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take a corporate-y Cody and make him an anti-authority Cody, which is where you get the FU line, right? And I think you're going to get Cody, anti-authoritarian. I think you're going to get CM Punk, who's the anti-authoritarian, and I think you're going to get Austin, who was absent as the 3 anti-authority legends, and you're going to have the 3 sort of corporate shill legends. And I think that's the end game.
Interesting. I like that. What do you guys think about that theory?
I think you need to stay away from Hulk Hogan.
I agree.
I don't think it's the right kind of heat if you bring in Hulk Hogan, because I'm just the way they booed that girl that was singing the national anthem.
Charlie.
Yeah,
what was Samantha?
I don't remember who was singing that.
It was somebody else. It wasn't the ring announcer. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But she got booed, and it wasn't her getting booed. It was the anthem.
It was America.
Yeah, and
it wasn't America. It was Trump and a trade war, right? Like
it's the Trump and the trade war, and it's the people that represent America at the top, and I don't think that Hogan. I think WWE needs to wash their hands of him and stop trying to resurrect him as anything. The people.
Would you take Triple H as a substitute?
Yes, Triple H would make a better substitute. Hogan needs to go away. If in a perfect world, Hogan would make sense. I would actually absolutely agree with Mr. LaFerrier is saying. I would agree with that, but I just think that Hogan is such a toxic brand. Everything he touches turns to shit these days. I haven't even heard of anything about that Real American beer since he got booed in LA.
Tastes great. Let's spill him, brother.
Right, yeah. So it's like you want to go to these shows and boo because you're having fun.
Boo for the right reasons.
Yeah, right. You don't want to boo because you hate the guy in the ring, And I think that there should be, if the lessons that you took from that
if there's people that can blur those lines, I think Logan Paul is a good example of somebody who can blur that line, walk that fine line, because he's not a good person, but he's also not Terry Bollea. Like I think that's the step too far.
Yeah, if the lesson you took from that Intuit Dome show was we need to turn Hogan heel, and no, that's not the lesson.
He's got that heat, brother.
Right, yeah. The lesson is we do not need this guy, The people that you need are there. Now I'm not. This isn't me saying Mark's prediction won't happen. I just think that would be not a great idea.
Honestly, I think if the old man was still there, it would happen.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
Lord.
But with Triple H, I think Triple H, he's no choir boy, but I think he's smart enough to know it might be a little too hot right now to bring Terry into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mark's idea. Because the whole theme behind it is all the greats fall, and think about it like this: Hogan had to fall.
Mhm.
Stone Cold had to fall. Cena has now followed that path. And for Cody, that's like, yo, I'm trying to follow your schedule. I'm trying to be you. You're the greatest of us all. And now you falling too.
Mhm.
It sets up for Cody to fall down the line too. And I think maybe Rock is the same one who pulls him over, just like Paul Heyman had his admiration for Roman in 2015. It took a while for him to fall, but when he did fall, who was his ally? It was Paul. So, and I don't think we need to have Paul joining up with everybody and turning everybody else heel. But The Rock, I think, is a great catalyst for Cody's heel turn. But also, it's nice to see Rock get a brother his own age. Like, oh, I need a brother. Like Cody, a younger brother, yes, but like, go get somebody your own age, homie. Go to the bar with your own people, dog. Cena, they around, they doing the same thing. So, yeah. That's the group. That's your club right there. So
Yeah.
Cena fits the bill. I like the idea of Cena following in that path of the greats falling. And I would like the idea if Hogan wasn't the awful person
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea. I
idea,
just think that's where they're going, right?
An elephant in the room.
It's like what was
Listen.
that line from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like everything was great until that last line. It's always the last line. I do like that line of thinking though. Like and to Downtown's point, and this is something I talked with Way about on Saturday as well. I feel like there is so much juice you can get out of this Rock, Cena, Cody thing, because eventually it's going to come down to Rock and Cody proper. And like I love the Palpatine of it all with our man Dwayne on these streets, where he's pulling the strings, like in the reality of this story he is, but also in the reality of this company. Like he's got power. And so I like the idea of, Cody resisting the temptation for now, but eventually there will be a day where Cody is going to fall into that trap. And I think it's a great way for Cody to turn heel without doing something silly or doing something off the wall that doesn't fit Cody's character. Jay, what do you think about Mark's idea? Is it great, and why is it not great because of Terry Bollea?
The whole Terry Bollea thing, man, that's what throwing me off. You're right. You don't want that kind of heat right now. I mean, you got to read the room.
Like at least the next 3 years, like Terry Bollea should not be involved with this company at all.
Right, but again, I think it was Chris's point. If Vince was here, that idea would be kicked across and probably brought to fruition.
Yes.
So that's a scary thought. But I mean, having a third would not be a bad idea. Just not Terry. Just not Hollywood, please.
I think, I think Mark, and it's not as impactful if it's not Terry, just in terms of the wrestling of it all. But I do think if you wanted to go with that same idea and make it less volatile, I think Triple H would probably be the stand-in for Hulk in that situation.
I go the other way. I think the other way you could go less volatile, if you don't want to heal the company, is you have Rock's squad and maybe you have somebody like Drew become the enforcer and folks like that, and then you have Hunter's squad, because Hunter set himself up as Uncle Paul, the face, that the guy we like in the company, even though maybe sometimes we shouldn't. But and Cody's kind of his guy, and Punk is now his guy. And could they have a couple other guys? Like could Cody bring in Ricky and Ricky Saints and Ethan Page and some of his AEW friends in a sort of wink and a nod to almost like the red and black versus the black and white type retread. But it's the two legitimate corporate powers in the company, but now as storyline de facto heads, which is something that this company's loved to do forever. Have like the inner board office turmoil in real life, we found out, but also on screen. And here's a way for it to happen on screen where there's some legitimacy for people like my son, who's like, oh man, like I know they're both the bosses in some way, shape, or form, right?
Well, Mark, though, like I was mentioning before, I was alluding to it before, who originally coined the phrase "best for business" in the WWE?
That's true.
And so I just can't see Triple H like kind of saying, "Oh, I'm the man of the people, but you're the boss," and it's like, why are you biting the hand that feeds you? Like you would need some real storytelling to kind of shift me to believe that Triple H doesn't want like what's best of the interest of the company or what's best in the interest of the director of the board.
If this leads to Ari Emanuel in an on-screen angle, though, I'm here for it.
I mean, there is one more McMahon that we haven't mentioned.
Talk about that man's name.
That man would be Shane McMahon. I mean, just pulling him out of obscurity just to come out and do something like this, that might be interesting right there.
But I hear you
might be cooking something right there, sir.
He trying to link up with Tony and then getting left on red is what I heard.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be crazy though, if you take Mark's idea of Cody's friends being kind of this AEW expat conglomeration, and Shane McMahon was the one heading that. It's like one way or another, I'm gonna own AEW.
You're gonna see him at Daly's place with a camera on him.
Mark, outside of the main event and the main event angle, which was truly the high point of Elimination Chamber, what else was good from the night?
To start with, Jade coming in was amazing, and everybody it lit the whole audience up because it was so unexpected. It was unique to a chamber, and Bianca's selling, right? Like there was this big storytelling that was happening that was amazing, and that match was really good. Good. And there were parts of that match that had people really on fire. The only problem, speaking of fire, is they had some weird technical stuff in the building that where everybody else was, but where we were, there was sound issues. They had the smoke machine going. The chamber itself has horrible visibility from tons of angles. So the crowd was quieter in ways until you got to things like Bianca and Liv, like Jade coming out, like Cena and Punk having their back and forth. That was really hot. And then it was a lot hotter for Kevin and Sammy because the chamber wasn't down. And it's great. I actually used to do some pro wrestling stuff in Montreal and Ottawa area with some of those guys, and I've seen those guys wrestle in front of 60 people. So around 35,000 was pretty cool, and I think there were a lot of people there that have seen those guys at the Polish Halls in Hamilton or wherever nearby, right? For 100 people. So that there was a lot there. Plus, it was a great match. The Trish match, it had its moments, but it felt like a lot of people sitting on their hands for that one. And that was when a lot of smoke and the sound issues were coming up. But yeah, and then the end, I mean, it was just electric and it felt historic. When Chris was saying culturally significant time, like that's what it felt like. I had buddies of mine who couldn't go, who were like, "You son of a bitch, like we can't be friends anymore. You went to the show," right? Because it felt like it. And we've been joking, our friend group has been joking for years about like tonight's the night Cena's going to turn heel, and it only has to happen once, right?
Yeah.
And it was masterful. Right,
yeah. Like I said, that was an event that you want to be able to say where you were at when it happened. It was very significant as far as wrestling lore, as far as wrestling history is concerned. And if you went to that event, you can always say you went to that particular event. WrestleMania is something that they have every year, and there's only a few WrestleManias that feel landmarkish like that. Like when Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar, that was one of those moments. I mean, you get those moments here and there, but you never quite get it the way you got with the Cena heel turn. Like I understood the defense of not turning Cena like in 2008 and 2009 because they really didn't have anything in the body to follow him. Jeff Hardy was rivaling his merch sales in the late zeros. And in the early 2010s, but Jeff Hardy just wasn't reliable as far as not getting into nefarious stuff outside. As far as,
are you dropping breadcrumbs that Jeff Hardy's going to join the network?
No, I'm not doing that. But then,
Chris, Professor, I was listening to you, and in my imagination, I realized I needed to join nefarious media. We could sit back and reminisce about that time when I was at the wedding with Teddy Long and Jagged Edge was singing "Let's Get Married." That was a good time, brother.
Yeah, he gave the IC belt to the Yin Yang Twins. But then 2011 and 12 was the perfect time to turn Cena heel because CM Punk was right behind him,
right?
And Vince McMahon just did not want to go with that. And that was they should have turned him probably back then. But they didn't do it for whatever reason, and we saw what happened with CM Punk. That dude bounced for 10 years on those cats. But I think that and you could debate the Cena heel turn all day long as far as when it should have happened, but the fact that it happened right now. Is like you've got Cody Rhodes there. He's your guy, and you got Roman Reigns there.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about that kind of corporate shit. I've never been a fan of not turning someone because they move merch. To me, that's kind of stupid. But because that means you're creatively bankrupt if that's the only reason why you won't turn somebody.
And they were for a long time.
Right, yeah. But if you have somebody to follow in that person's footsteps, then you should be ready to go that direction in the story, And I think that Triple H, it wasn't just Triple H, trust me, it was The Rock too. They had the foresight, they had the wherewithal to see this was the time. Cena is not long for this wrestling world. Whether he extends it for a little bit, he's not going to extend it for another 2 years or nothing like that. He'll probably extend it a few months, and then he's going to be out. And you only get a chance to do this once, just like the Undertaker streak. You only get a chance to do that once. Kofi Mania only happens once. It's never happening again.
Damn sure ain't happening again.
Especially with Kofi Kingston. But to say that you were there for that ride is something cool. And this is one of the reasons why I watch wrestling is for moments like this. For me to jump on a podcast or me to call Nate. When Nate's right, I'll give him his deal.
Cena calling you right now.
Yeah, somebody. But this is the stuff that you want to watch wrestling for. You want to talk about this. This is probably the biggest event maybe since CM Punk signed to AEW the first time. This is a huge thing.
You only get those every so often, like every 5-10 years, you get something like that.
Right, and then the fact that the two of y'all were there, that's really cool, And like I said, man, if you went to this thing and you were thinking about going to WrestleMania 2. I mean, you could go to WrestleMania still, but I just doubt you're gonna.
Like not to downplay Mania, but I get your point. Like that, this was the historical moment, but that match is gonna kill.
Yeah, that match is gonna be great. Yeah,
that match is gonna be fantastic. I want to put a pin in Cena right now, like not in the actual person, human being, John Cena, but in this topic of conversation, because. Gerard and Mark were in the building, and I know, I lived in, the outskirts of Toronto for a few months, man. So I know how the weather can get
Cambridge
up there.
Represent.
Yeah, shout out to Cambridge, man. My old stomping grounds. They know about me and them Tim Hortons up there. You don't know nothing about that downtown. They know about me at them Harvey's. They got a great American burger at Harvey's, Ray. You don't know nothing about that, Ray?
No, I don't.
You ain't never had no poutine from Smokes, Ray?
Oh.
But like Gerard and Mark, they used to, kind of that weather up there in that part of the world. But I've never seen, and I know you guys weren't expecting it, Gerard, a storm happening inside of a building, brother. Mark brought it up. Let's talk about it. How did you feel that, they played off Jade Cargill's big return, not to attack Liv Morgan, but to attack her own sister, her own member of the Big Three? She said, "Motherfuck the Big Three. Naomi, it's just Big Me."
Man, Mark brought up a point earlier about audio issues.
Mhm.
There were audio issues when the show first started up, like during when the announcers were still talking, and it was like with the music playing over the speaker. So it was just like this, like almost like a record scratch, and then it would then just restart the music. And so that kind of happened again, right before Jade's music, and it was just like, oh, you're having audio issues again. Okay, a storm is coming, huh? What? And then she's coming out looking like a brick house, looking in phenomenal shape, marching down to the ring. Liv is looking like she's lost in the sauce. She doesn't know what to do next. I'm focused the whole time though, and especially when I got back to the hotel, and then when I got back home too, I'm over here back into the left, back into the left. I'm looking at Naomi the whole time. I'm looking at Bianca the whole time because the second Jade's music comes out, Bianca starts taking off her coat. I'm like, are you taking it off to act? Or are you taking it off because you know it's going down? Because there were no words exchanged during this. I mean, Jade was talking her smack. She was saying, "Hey, yo, I'm coming to get mine." Because if you watch what she says to Liv, she was like, "I'm not here for your ass," or some long lines of like, "I'm not here for your ass," and then she goes, pretends to throw a punch, goes after Naomi, and lays down a vicious beatdown, including that cage door slam. Which my angle, I'm above where they walk out, so they're walking out, and the second they take a few steps forward more, I'm above their head.
Right.
And so I'm looking dead at the cage entrance when Naomi's crawling out to get out, and then they slam it. Just a phenomenal view, a phenomenal time, a phenomenal piece of business, because it's highlighting 3 African American women. The whole story for the Elimination Chamber forward then was, can Bianca pull it together? She's in a highly emotional state because she's focused on what's going on with Naomi. And I mean, she doesn't seem to be putting the pieces together that, oh, Naomi attacked my friend. She's very, very concerned for Naomi's health. So I'm curious, like, what do or don't you know, Bianca? And are you a part of this? Did you help her? Because I'm not trying to down my girl Naomi.
Did you order the code red?
I'm not down in Naomi, but look, I believe in WWE's gaming systems and that weight detection. Hey, yo, I don't think she's gonna be able to get Jade off that ramp by herself. So she had some help. People talk about the metaphor and whatnot, but like, she's already got a tag team partner.
Right.
And I can see Jade going, because she stood on business, as people love to say, went straight on in and said, "You're the person who benefited the most from me going down. You got my belt. You took my spot that I was going to be in the War Games match." My issue, or no, not Bailey did, but your friend was the cover up, so we thought it was mainly her. But my issue with the story is, what did Naomi benefit from attacking besides the tag team title belt? Because I get that. I get the title belt, but she had that before and she left the company. She dropped that because she didn't want it no more. And she would have became the US champion, a world champion by chance. And now we're marching towards this. She earned something from this that she hadn't before. So like, are we making Naomi the catty girl? Because like that don't feel right for the girl who came back from TNA after rebuilding herself to bring her back to this point. What are y'all thinking?
Like, to me, and then I want to kick it over to Jay. Like, to me, this is, come on, man. Who ordered the code red? Was it you, Colonel Jessup, with your braid? Because this, to me, all signs point back to Bianca Belair as the orchestrator of this. Because for 2 reasons, I think it makes sense storyline wise, but also if the payoff to this is a big singles match, what's the bigger singles match, Naomi and Jade or Bianca and Jade? And it's Bianca and Jade. No shade to Naomi because she's been great since her return. But to me, and I think, I did a little bit of that JFK back into the left video introspection that you did downtown. And the moment Jade steps in the ring, not only does Bianca take her coat off, but Naomi's first look is not like, "Yo, what you doing back, girl?" Her first look is back to Bianca. Like, hey, dog, you made me do this, dog. like you can't help me with this. And so I feel like that's the story that we're gonna like. Naomi is going to be the patsy for now, but the whole story is how does Bianca keep this facade? Because I think when that facade cracks, like, come on, we gonna have 2 generational heel turns in the same year, fellas.
That also
First
makes
Cena,
sense as
and
to
now
why
Bianca.
she waited. She waited for Bianca to be in the chamber, right? But also why she was silent on Twitter. Like the stuff that doesn't make sense about like Jade not just telling people what was up while she was gone. She's not in a coma or anything, right? But then it actually does make sense because she can't trust the 2 people she thought she could trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was over. She's so over. She's such a star. And she doesn't have to be on TV every week. She could be gone. She is not out of the conversation. And it's a spectacle when she appears, especially in a big crowd like that, especially with a good storyline. I got to get going. I'm solo parenting today, but I just wanted to say I was on Postmarks recently. It's going to come out. And my plug was for Nefarious Media because I think you guys are doing great work.
Brother.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you guys are the best, and just wonderful. I'm glad the rebrand's going so well, and things are so consistent, and it's just been awesome on the commutes and awesome all around. So thanks, guys. I got to go, but
hey, we appreciate it, Mark, and I'm glad you didn't take any of my harsh words towards the French to heart, brother. We love you.
Oh, c'est bien, mon ami.
Si vous play, mon ami. I know a little something.
let Kelly Oubre know we thinking about him.
Yeah, let Kelly Oubre know. Shout out to Mark LaFerriere for joining us again. If you are a member of the Patreon, this is the type of things you can do. Hop on these conversations, especially after big moments like a John Cena heel turn or the NBA Finals. I'm sure we'll be having live shows after that. So if you want to have your voice heard in the conversation, give us your opinion. Hit that link down there. And drop $5 in the collection plate and join the congregation. But let's go back to Jay on Jade and this angle. Like it's kind of crazy when you think about it now. Looking at the whole show, that our bookends are Jade Cargill returning and putting them hands on Naomi and John Cena turning. And it's like, oh, these are 2 big stories that you can if you play this smart, you can get a lot of mileage out of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I liked when Jade came in. Number one, first, I'm glad they waited to the end of Black History Month to have this happen. I was like, yo, okay, this is great storytelling right now. And they waited to that, to that final moment. The other thing I wanted to point out, too, March is Women's History Month. And they started the PLE with 2 women's matches, which was, very thoughtful. So whoever's at the table, I mean, kudos for them to do that. But to bring it back to Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, I don't know how it's going to play out. Maybe it ends up with the metaphor, but maybe it might end up with a triple threat match at Mania for the belt, for the women's belt, with Bianca and Jade, and I don't know. Maybe it's Io, maybe it's Rhea. I don't know. I would love to see that play out. We're gonna find out tonight at Raw, but I don't know. I'm just really looking forward to this because I mean, there's more layers to it than what they're presenting to us. So I just think it's brilliant storytelling on that side. So
yeah, Doc, I know you got a jet here in a little bit, Doc. But what'd you think of the Jade Cargill angle that was set up on the pay-per-view the other night?
Your girl.
I thought it was cool,
Your ex is doing it big, Chris.
One of your 45 exes.
One of your 45 exes, number 32, killed it last Saturday night.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens because I really do. I haven't loved everything WWE's done so far with Jade Cargill. I think a lot of times they expect her to do more than what should be required out of her. I don't think she's ever going to be a Charlotte type wrestler or a Rhea type wrestler or a Bianca type wrestler, but I don't think that's what she needs to be. I think she needs to be an intimidating force and just somebody who wrecks the people that she messes with. She needs to be more along the lines of a Goldberg than she needs to be, Miss Technical Wrestling. So I'm looking forward to the direction that they have for her. I don't know how wise it is to turn Bianca heel and have her go against Jade. I think the WWE audience
is still going to cheer Bianca.
I think they like Bianca better. I think they, that's kind of how people have been conditioned. I think Jade, at the end of the day, she's going to be looked at as somebody who is a WWE woman, but she is a WWE woman by way of AEW. Whereas Bianca is a homegrown star. I hope it's not like that. I wouldn't mind if they just had Bianca Belair be the heel, but we'll see. We'll see.
What about you, Ray?
Well, we were talking about Mortal Kombat before, and it's perfect how you guys had the book in when you were talking about with Cena and with Jade. We were talking about Rock being Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
Jade, I'm going to turn it to movies now. Jade was Jason Voorhees. She came in, and this all reminded me, especially the way Bianca was playing it out. This all reminded me of a horror movie. And Bianca, if you guys, all of us are men of a certain age, and not Scott Bakula and
Andre
not,
Brower,
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano.
Yeah.
Shout out to the brothers.
But
hell of a show.
Yeah, we're all of a certain age where we know the movie Scream and Drew Barrymore in that iconic opening scene, and how she's looking at her boyfriend who is taped to a chair, muffled, and now getting stabbed to death. Drew Barrymore couldn't hold a candle to Bianca Belair, who is just watching helplessly as her friend is getting slung around, and just Naomi. And I was saying in my head that the top selling award is tied for that particular event, and one goes to your Samoan princess, Nate, but the other goes to Naomi, who was just getting demolished and destroyed, and even before the gate closed into her getting slammed into the pod and her just sliding down. I was like, oh Lord, somebody come help her. But my mind is, because I was telling you guys before on past episodes of NWA that I did think that it was Naomi the whole time, but now that this has happened, now my mind is switching up, because you rarely have it to where in either movies, any type of media, even especially professional wrestling, where the bad guy is found out so easily and the bad guy is snuffed out right away. It's like, oh, there's that Naomi got. Like, no. It's like, I think now Naomi was a red herring, and I do think that Bianca is going to end up being the person that kind of turned, because we were kind of hearing rumblings of Bianca and Jade not getting along even while they were champions. So they're probably going to kind of harken back to that. And it was so, I know it was kind of like an hour in between, like her like going through this catastrophic event, seeing her best friend essentially getting murdered, and then her winning the Elimination Chamber. But once she was done and the Elimination Chamber was done, there was no hurrying to the back.
Right. She had time to stand on the ramp and stare with Rhea and Io.
Yeah, I got a point at, we got a point. I can't get out of here before I point.
I'm sorry it took me 30 minutes to get to the hospital, sis. I had to point at the sign.
I know.
They say take in the mountaintop, so let me take a view real quick.
It's almost as bad as that time on AEW when Matt Hardy was getting the brakes beat off him, and Jeff came to save him, but he had to hit that dance first. Like, come on, brother.
Yeah, like
what was that character on Martin? Where that dude is like, but first I must dance.
Oh, that was Jeff Hardy. King B.
King B. Go King B. Go King.
But yeah, I just thought, yeah, that was kind of strange to see that. It was like, oh, you don't care about your friend no more. And you brought up like the face off, you brought up the face off, Nate, between her and our girl Rhea Ripley, and then doggone Io just walks out. And I don't know if you guys ever had this happen where like you're playing like your favorite video game with your friend, and then your youngest sibling got to come in and be like, "Can I play?" That's how EO was looking.
I felt bad for EO in that moment because it's like, I know you're trying to give the illusion that EO could beat Rhea, but come on.
Yeah.
It's not happening tonight.
Nah, I don't think so either. I would love it to, because EO is such a tremendous performer, and she does
I would too, but I think, and I was telling Wade this,
she's
again
not a
the other
star.
day. Well, no, I'm not that EO's not a star, you know, because there are classifications of stars, though.
Right,
you know,
Right.
if you look at your star map, right? There's levels to this shit, right? But I think like any combination of those three, you're gonna have a hell of a match. But WrestleMania is less about hell of a match and more about hell of a moment. And Bianca and Rhea is a hell of a moment.
Yeah.
But I will say this: my biggest issue with this moment is it shouldn't happen this year. It should happen next year, and it should get the night one main event next year.
Yeah,
because it deserves to be a main. At least it deserves to have a main event. They had teased it from. I was there.
Honestly, I thought it should have happened. What was it? Was it 2 years ago when we had Bianca and Asuka? Was it Bianca, Charlotte, Asuka, Rhea? Was that how, or was it the other way around?
So at WrestleMania 39, Rhea won her championship off of Charlotte.
Yes,
and then
Asuka
Bianca defended hers against Asuka. The next night on Raw, they both came out, had their belts and Jordans, teased like, "Hey, I'll see you." So it's looking like, to me, I was like, "Oh, WrestleMania 40 night one, it's gonna be the girls' main event."
That's what I think they should have pulled the trigger.
Here comes Dwayne.
Speaking of WrestleMania night one, night two, I know I'm gonna piss some people off when I say this.
Don't do it, Chris.
I don't think Jay
Yeet, Chris
Luther are main eventing either night of WrestleMania.
Yeet. But he won Royal Rumble. He won the Royal Rumble.
World, he should be the main event. I really do think he should be the main event. I just don't see WWE putting those two in the main event over. Like I'm considering everybody. I'm considering I'm considering Rhea and Bianca. Yeah. I'm considering CM Punk, Seth Rollins, because I do think they're gonna fit Roman Reigns.
Three-way, with Roman.
Somehow. I just don't see it, man. If I'm wrong, if y'all think I'm wrong, just.
I think the best case scenario, because a lot of people are saying you either have him main event or you have him open. I think the best case for Jay, if we're putting the belt on Jay, if Jay's going to beat Slim Walt on these streets, if that is where you're headed, I think you make it the co-main, right? Like it's the match right before Roman, Seth, and Punk. And you have Jay win, give him his big moment, let it breathe, have him walking backstage. As he's walking backstage, who does he see? The tribal chief. They dap up. It's a nice moment. And then we get to the real main event. Because at least that way you give Jay something. Whereas if it's the first match of the night, ain't nobody going to remember that. After night one, certainly, but especially after night two. Like, that's going to be an afterthought.
I think the WWE wants to see the crowd yeeting like all 80,000 or whatever, and they want to end the show on that. So that would be my only argument for it. Not that I think it's going to be like an outstanding, 5-star match or whatever, but I think they want to end with the crowd just, yeeting all together, have the flashlights up in the air, and have everybody smiling and leaving at the same time.
I really do, because people think I'll be hating when I say that kind of stuff. I think they should. I think Gunther and Jay should main event night two.
See, now you go crazy, Chris. Now you're getting a little too crazy, dog. I was with you if you said night one, Chris.
What I think should happen in reality, look, man, if this was, now that I'm happily married, I'm happily married, but
after
you asked me about single days, and I think I should have been one of Halle Berry's.
It always goes back to Halle.
But
always.
That's not reality,
Right.
So it's like just because
you could have pulled up to the set of Catwoman and said something, Chris.
Right, yeah, I could have, man. I might have had
what a movie.
I mean, she made out with Fred Durst in that music video. Maybe I could have.
Don't get me started on her and Billy Bob in that one movie.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I mean, But yeah, just because I think it don't mean that's what I want.
So where do you think it's gonna go, Chris? You think it opens night one?
Yeah, I think it's gonna open night one or night two,
Dang, it's a
and
cold game.
And I think either I don't think Charlotte's gonna main event, but I think it's
there's not enough juice for that match.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Rhea and Bianca main event in night one, or CM Punk, Jay
three-way.
CM Punk, Rollins, and Roman main event night one, or just something like that. I just with the star power that they have in that company, you know, they went against the algorithm last with Jay winning the Royal Rumble, so they do.
You saying that was his WrestleMania main event?
Well, they seem a little bit more willing to go against their normal algorithms. So I don't feel like I'm not really confident in any of my picks. I think this is a good place to be if you're a wrestling fan, you know.
I mean, honestly, Chris, like just thinking about it, like if we are all assuming that Jay is going to win, then I think having Jay close out the show night one winning and Cody losing the second night, to me, I think that, like, granted, I definitely get the point about star power in that main event.
Right.
But I think just from a narrative perspective, like it fits a little bit better if you have the good guy win on night and then the bad guy win on night two.
Yeah, I agree. I think it fits way better. So I hope that's what they do.
Yeah.
But you know, it's I mean, this is The Rock's business, and this is Triple. I do think.
Look, you said The Rock ain't gonna put his oos in the main event.
I don't know.
I'm a dream. I think it's inverted.
Right.
I think it's inverted. I think Cody Cena night one because it's sad. Just like last year, it was sad how they ended night one.
Okay.
Cliffhanger. We go into night two, send you home happy. As a live show attender, Jay, the kids love Jay.
Yes.
The energy that Cena used to have with the kids, Jay has that. And so after a tired night of everything else, what can you get the crowd to do? Just like at the end of 30, everybody could go like this. Well, homie, we could go like this at 41. So send him home at the very end of the last one. Make him a star. If we're gonna we're gonna call him main event. Put him in the main event. He won the Rumble.
Actual main event. I 100% agree. That's what they should do. They need to
I agree. Like that's what they should do. What they will do is another question. What do you think, Jay?
Exactly.
What do you think about your namesake, your Uso out here, brother?
Switch it up.
Yeah, like I said, closing night one, everybody eating, going home happy, and then night two, Cody loses, everybody's crying and sad and depressed, and then we go on to Raw after Mania, where everything is just upside down anyway. So I just really, I think
you said we get
really
in game before Infinity War
and have that historical moment when Jey Uso takes on the crown.
Okay. Ray, any thoughts before? Because I know Chris Alexa's in his ear because Chris got his bounce in a little bit. But any thoughts on Jay real quick, Ray?
I kind of echoed those sentiments before. I thought, and I mentioned on NWA that I thought Jay would be like the opening match on night two, but now like you guys are kind of convincing me that I think he should be either main event on either night, because like I was saying on NWA, it's like you can't expect this man, you can't expect him to be a star if you're not going to put him in a star making position. So it's like let's try to at least put him in that position to try to be successful and see how it goes. But real quick, I know Professor, I know you got to get out here and do your thing, but I wanted to pose a question to go around, and Brother Gerard, you mentioned this question before earlier, and there was also a brother in the comments, Brother Austin Verge. Who do you guys think walks out as the WWE champion? He mentioned earlier that he was specifying as WWE champion. I already said that I think no way Cena doesn't win. And I think Nate, you kind of mentioned the same thing. What do you other brothers think?
Don't turn this man into Solo Sikoa. Don't do it.
I don't see on any planet in any universe, in any timeline, in any what's
Earth
it called?
616.
This man, Dr. Strange, looked through all the possibilities.
Yeah, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 666, whatever. I don't see Cena losing at WrestleMania anymore.
Right.
It wouldn't, like Nathan's been saying all weekend, it just wouldn't make any fucking sense. It'd be like, why'd you do this if you're not
to lose?
Reap the benefits of this? Because you are gonna, trust me when I say they're going to move mad merch with heel Cena.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that they won't, then you're on something. They're gonna move some merch.
Get them breakaway shirts going.
Right, yeah.
They're moving at McDonald's probably.
Yeah, and WrestleMania is gonna be the prime spot for that. So yeah, it's gonna be Cena.
All right, Chris, we know you got to go and educate these youths out here. Anything you want to plug before you get out of here, man?
No, I just want to plug the shows. We got a show coming up in a couple weeks on Post Wrestling, and just follow me on the Blue Sky. You see it there, Blue Sky Social. KM Easy does it. I'm still on Twitter every once in a while, so you can follow me there as well. If y'all are still up when I get out of class, I'll give you a holler again. If not, then I will catch you all on the flip side. All right.
All right, Gray, hug Chris real quick, and then while you're hugging Chris, just look at me, dog.
Yeah, do the thing. I'm ready for the heel turn.
Later, Doc. Somebody call Travis Scott.
I can't wait to listen later. All right, peace out.
I appreciate you, brother. Let's go there, because we haven't hit on this. Like I was joking about it earlier, but I've seen a lot of discourse, especially in the wrestling spaces on social media the last 24, 48 hours about Travis Scott. It's like a lot of people either hate it or love it. I personally dug it. Like, to me, I said it, and Chris said it as well when he was on with Sid yesterday on True Hill Heat. Like, it felt like Dennis Rodman as part of the NWO. Like, this celebrity who's like has no business being in there with these dudes, but he's gonna find a way to be annoying and just a thorn in Cody Rhodes' side. What was the reaction to Travis at in the building downtown? Like, did people react to him? Like, were there people like, why the hell is he here? What is he doing with the Sage?
I can tell you, I was blown away because show to show, you hear they play the promo for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of hear a couple people at different shows kind of sing it. I've never heard it sung like that before at the Rogers Center. Like, the Rogers Center people were, the mom next to me, her kid, everybody else in the bing, bing. Everybody's fiending just to see this man out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once we get to the heel turn portion, there were a couple echoes in the crowd like, the hell is he doing here? What is he doing? Like, why is Travis Scott doing that? But outside of that, to me, I think Travis Scott's getting that bad. He got that Bad Bunny itch. He said, I want that lifestyle. I want to be in the ring with it. I want to be a part of the action. I got that celebrity. Let me cash it in for this now. So, hey, I think leading into WrestleMania, he will probably take a Crossroads or something at some point for what
and the crowd is going to eat it up.
Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we will. Because I'm excited for that match and to see that live at Mania. But the discourse around him, some of it, I think it's just people. It's rooted in some other things, but also I think some of it is just rooted in people don't like hip hop. Yeah. Some of it is low-key, people just don't like hip hop music. They don't get his music. Some people also might have some genuine feelings about some of his past live shows and some of the incidents that come out of that. So I could see a different mix in energies, but I can tell you live, wasn't up. At least in my section, everybody bobbing that head and dancing, having a ball until he started punching Cody.
Yeah, that was insane. Like, that's when he went into sicko mode. Like, come on, my boy. Like, don't you know this is like we giving the illusion of violence, not actual violence on these streets. Jay, what did you make of the Travis Scott involvement?
You know what? I like it. I mean, I really like it. I'm a hip hop head, so I mean, I was digging it, 100% until you started putting paws to face on Cody. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, these are working punches, man. So go eat a little bit, But I can see where he would want to get in the ring, but standing next to Cena, standing next to The Rock, this dude ain't got that size. He ain't built for it. You know what I mean? So I just don't. If he goes in the ring, he's got a receipt coming back. I do see a crossroads coming, maybe two, but I really don't want to see him in the ring. I mean, in the building for sure. He's got that energy about him. I mean, the young folks like him, people of my age like him as well too. So I'm rooting for him. I want him to win, but I just don't want to see him in the ring. Not everybody's a Bad Bunny. Not everybody's a Logan.
Right.
Not everybody's a Stephen Amell that can do this art, so if he does get in the ring, I hope I'm wrong, but if he does and he proves my point, then it's like, come on, man, this should have just stayed an idea in your head.
Like, I think he's at least going to take a crossroads, because that has to happen at some point. But Ray, I'm going to try to do my best Professor Ely impression here and get into the weeds in this, because Chris brought up something, because a lot of people are like, is Travis Scott a heel? Was he always a heel? What is he doing? And you got to follow the breadcrumbs, or should I say the bun crumbs, because John Cena is now this big popular spokesman for McDonald's.
Oh, here we go.
Travis Scott had a meal at McDonald's, brother.
Yeah.
What's McDonald's slogan? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. What's the opposite of love when you reverse it? It's hate. That equals Travis Scott being a heel. He was trying to tell you the whole time, Ray Williams.
Hey, one step further. One step further. Ba ba da ba.
Now you
Slow that
see
McDonald's down.
You see the vision. You see the vision. Now, Ray, if this all culminates in Angel Reese joining this heel stable, then it's over. It's over. Y'all go cop that Angel Reese special right now. Support our niece. But Ray, like, what did you think of Travis Scott's involvement? Because here's the funny thing, like, Jay brings up a good point. Like we all dig Travis Scott, but I think it's not for us in particular. It's for like the college students and even high school students, because my nieces don't care anything about no damn wrestling. And my oldest niece texted me. She's like, "Did you know Travis Scott was on a wrestling show?" And I was like, "Yeah, would you like to hear about it?" "No, what was he doing there? I just want to hear about Travis Scott." Like, you don't want to hear about John Cena making this turn that we've been waiting 20 years? No. What did Travis Scott do, Uncle Nate? Like, who is Cody Rhodes? Like, you don't know Cody Rhodes? What are they teaching the kids in school these days, especially during February? Ray Williams, what did you make of Travis Scott's involvement, man?
Well, I'm kind of like indifferent. And I understand, Gerard, you're saying he wants to have his Bad Bunny moment, but it's like everybody can't be Bad Bunny. Sometimes you're going to have to be I Show Speed. And he's lucky. He's lucky he ain't slapped Ron Breaker.
Well said.
But it was kind of awkward, because we know that he had this song pretty much as the main song or the main theme for WrestleMania for a long while. And I think it was the first Raw on Netflix that he came out with Jay, and he had some other type of incense.
Pass Jay the blunt.
Yeah. And so it's like, wait a minute.
It was like, no yeet, brother. Like, I can't get in no more trouble. I'm trying to main event.
Exactly. Trying to get Jay is like, I got cases, brothers. But it's just like when he came out, and it's like, okay, all right, Travis Scott is here, I guess. And then like, he just looks so awkward, like, throughout, like, with him going to do all. I'm like, what is this brother do? Like, I didn't even see like the incense or the sage. I was like, what is this brother do? And then he's drinking like a can of Arizona tea or something. I'm like, what is he doing? He looks so awkward. And like you were saying, Jay, it's like, it's bad enough you look awkward in stature compared to a John Cena and to The Rock. Is like, when you were mentioning Nate, you were mentioning the Dennis Rodman. Well, Dennis Rodman is like 6'8", 6'9", and he's chiseled, so he can kind of fit in. Like this dude, he looked like 150 pounds soaking wet. And it's like, I don't know what this dude is supposed to be. Again, like you guys said, it's not for us, it's for the younger crew. And I'm glad that you guys hit on the points as far as some people have thoughts of him based on past shows, and specifically with that Astro World show that ended up in how many, like 2 people dying, being trampled and things like that. And so some people have thoughts and kind of have their minds made up about him in that particular moment. And then some people, you got your Dave Meltzers out here like, what are all these rappers doing out here? And
hey, but did Dave join us?
I know, and he ain't even Southern. He's from San Jose. I don't know why.
I was gonna say that's
from California.
You may as well have made him like one of them stereotypical gangsters from the 90s movies. What's Travis Scott doing here, blood? How does Buster end up at the barbecue?
Right.
Oh my God.
But
that was a wild Dave Meltzer impression.
But you got him, and you also got a guy. I believe his name is James Romero. He has his own YouTube channel, and I believe he wrote like The Rise and Fall of WCW. I think he wrote that book. But even he was kind of like, oh, this Travis Scott, he's a hippity hopper. I don't know. I don't follow any rap that came after 1999. It was like, oh, geez. All right, well, you ain't got. Okay, that's your opinion, but like you said, it serves an audience that goes beyond us. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what his role is supposed to be. Maybe he is like kind of like the guy who jumps around and who's like the hype man, but he don't really want the smoke. but then he end up getting in the ring and like eye to eye with Cody, and he ended up getting his just desserts. So we'll see what happens with that. But I really was kind of like indifferent to it. And then even when they had the picture, or not the picture, but they kind of like in the ring with Cena stepping on the head of Cody, and then Rock is right there next to him, and then like fade all the way over, and you got Travis Scott on the ropes. I'm like, this dude is a geek. But
the first thing I thought when I saw that is like, you know what, we are so blessed to have AI to just edit that out. That's gonna be one of them shots. Like, okay, we need to get rid of this because this ain't it. This ain't you ain't the main character in the story, bro.
It's crazy though, because this is a turn that people will be talking about for years, like long after we gone, fellas. And part of the story of the John Cena heel turn is Travis Scott, and I love that just for the weirdness of history. Like some kid 20 years from now that's a wrestling fan is like, Grandpa, who was Travis Scott? Well, let me tell you about this man Travis Scott, brother. But yeah, I think his role is to be an irritant. Like I think his role is to be the pest. Like I don't think we'll see much physicality from him, but I do think like that crossroads is coming. Like Cody got that receipt for him.
My call to action is don't have our stars. Don't have us. Don't call. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's standing next to them, because look at it like this. Over time, you know how people are like, oh, these figures, these people over time. He's a smaller person standing next, even to an older Rock and an older Cena. It's like, hey, like put a banana by it for scale. He's the banana now. And now you can see, oh, wow, look at these statuesque wrestlers compared to this normal human being who is a celebrity. But look at his celebrity versus their just aura standing next to him. They're Greek gods. He's this human. Like not pooping on him, but he's just small. He's scrawny. So like he's there for scale. But I said it last time, you're gonna bring in iShow Speed. I get that you're trying to get to the younger audience. Thank you because during my younger years when I watched wrestling, I never was a fan of AC/DC, but I had to hear them all the time. I did become a Motorhead fan eventually. Eventually so many Motorhead songs. You find a couple they play over the years that you like, and you get with, but they are using music, they're using celebrities that are young, youthful, and a lot of them are African American. Don't just use our celebrities, but and try to get that audience who love those celebrities to come watch your show, and then not have people that look like them across the show in high positions. I love our truth, but like he's at a level. I listened to Shelton Benjamin last night talk about. I thought I could only be a tag team champion because that's what I saw before me, for the most part, was being a tag team champion. But then I got to have my vision grow because of others around me passing me, and me being able to chase them and chase towards my dreams. Where are our mid-card black champions? At this point, we should be Xavier should be being pushed towards a singles championship, not doing a tag team thing. Push somebody. Push him there. Montez and them, I think they're on the way to the tag team championships, but that's we've had that already. Yeah. Where's our black main eventer at?
Carmelo.
Somebody who's don't y'all done beat my man to death. Nah, I love Carmelo, but y'all have beat my man. Yeah.
Hey, you're onto something downtown. I think that Obafemi in a couple years is going to be that dude. Obafemi is cooking down there. I mean, so. Tell me about it. So I think we got some on the way. I think Trick Williams, when he gets called up, that's another brother I think they're going to focus on too. So I think it's bubbling. And I'm hoping that Uncle Triple H does something with it and doesn't fumble the bag. You know what I mean?
I mean, but how can he push them if he can't see them?
Like Cena, yeah.
Just a bunch of John Cena's on this NXT roster. But real quick,
it would be though a lot of money behind it if you push it. Crazy. You could have an army of John Cena's, an army of merch sellers.
And the crazy thing is,
if you just push us,
they could have had an army of John Cena's back during Cena's heyday. Because one of the things, and this is a great transition downtown, because my contention back in the day during Cena's run was like, I understand why Cena is the guy, but you got to make other guys. Like, you just can't have Superman out here just beating up everybody. You got to have a Lex Luthor. You got to have a Batman. You got to have the Flash. You got to have a Green Lantern. You got to have Sinestro. You got to have all these characters if you want to build out your universe. And it's like MVP was right there. MVP was right there. Could talk, could work, had the look, and they dropped the ball. They didn't even understand. Again, this speaks to what you were talking about with the music, like culturally, like MVP showing up at the BET Awards with Sherry Shepherd. Like, that's a big thing to an audience that may not be the audience you're looking at, but it's like they dismissed it. Like, that nobody watches that. And like, a lot of people watch the BET Awards. And so that brings us to the current, the present day with MVP out here hurting people in syndication, if you will. So Gerard, you mentioned you had a chance to see the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate over the weekend, and they were doing a Chris Van Vliet interview. So any insight from that time?
They talked about their journey. They talked about the fact that when it was time to go, MVP had to convince Bobby it was time to go. But like, we should just get out of here. Shelton's already free, so let's get out. Let's go expand and let's go redo this because our bodies are getting older. We don't have much longer. We got a run in us, but that time's ticking. So let's get that run started. And so talking about gathering, because they hate the fact, and a lot of the Hurt Syndicate is built upon the fact that there was so much more juice behind the Hurt Business in WWE, and that it ended so fast. And Shelton won the time and the chance to be seen on TV wrestling because he had more in the tank, which we have seen immensely in a lot of his matches in AEW. MVP giving a lot of credit to Paul Heyman on his journey of like where he is today, a lot of the influence. And he stated like, I wouldn't be at this point of my career the talker I am and whatnot if it wasn't for Paul Heyman and some of his advice that he gave. And so like when people look at Bobby Lashley and MVP as almost a Brock and Brock and Paul Heyman combo, it there's the influence because Paul has been mentoring MVP in behind the scenes. And so like you get to see that work and that effort from that. And their goal is to give back to the business. with Bobby wanting to be able to not only for the AEW talent, but his own too. Like he wants to be able to set it up. His son's doing football, but like The Rock, he didn't bring it up like that. But that's what I heard, and like that's what I saw the vision of. Like, hey, yo, Samoans don't just have to be the only people who are just like having that in-network build for their family and for their kids to have a pipeline in the future. Let me do that for me and mine as well. So building that potentially through AEW or his other ventures that he's doing as well. They are all focused on building and cultivating new talent, and that leading into them also wanting not only when they get done building the tag division and trying to help other tag teams, moving on to other singles gold for all of them. And then the addition of, hey, we are going to add a fourth member eventually. People kept asking, like, is it going to be Cedric? They wouldn't allude to that, but they definitely said, promise you, undoubtedly, there will be a fourth member of our group coming in the future. And so, I mean, that leaves me to give you all a question of speculation of who do you all think, with time passing, with cards given out, who do you think that fourth member could be? Because I think Ricochet's in gang initiation mode right now to earn his way into the Hurt Syndicate. Because I think that snatch and hey, we gonna call you bluff, and you felt some type of way. No, I gotta earn that back, but I don't want to fight them. I want to be with them.
Right.
So I think his route is, I think he's taking the Cedric route, but I mean, what about 5 brothers together in suits going around and being a syndicate? They got enough belts in AEW and ROH and everything that we can have 5 brothers knocking that out. I still say 5 brothers and 2 sisters, but hey, why not? It's a syndicate. It should be bigger.
Right.
We don't need to be the NWO, but let's add some members to it. But who would you all want to see in the group? Who do you all think would benefit from being around those brothers and could be uplifted?
Jay?
Leo Rush.
Okay.
He's already got that relationship with Bobby Lashley. So I mean, I think that would be a great fit for him. Another brother I would love to see, but I mean, we already got a talker in MVP, but where's Stokely Hathaway? I would love to see him get more airtime, get some more shine. He's entertaining as all get out, but I think to answer the question, Leo Rush would be my number 1 pick.
Okay.
I like
what about you, Ray?
After careful consideration, I'm thinking let's get some ladies up in here.
Okay.
And who's one lady who we've been talking about ad nauseum on NWA, who we feel hasn't been getting the shine that she deserves on AEW?
No, I thought you was going to say Shotzi Blackheart.
No. But one Athena.
Ooh, the goddess.
There it is, Ray. There it is.
Because there were a lot of people that were talking about, hey, maybe have Mercedes as a part of the Hurt business, but I think Mercedes is kind of like her own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of seeing the same thing in the Ricochet right now, is where I think he's trying to prove to himself that he doesn't need the Hurt Syndicate, and that he can do bad all by himself, as one Tyler Perry would say. But I think Athena would be a tremendous pick because, again, you kind of, if you want to have her maybe lose the Billy Stark, lose that ROH championship, but then kind of right off the back of that, her being kind of maybe somebody that MVP has been keeping an eye on. And I don't know if we've seen, like, she hasn't, as far as I know, I haven't seen her handed a business card yet, but who knows what happens behind the scenes. And then, like, maybe she comes out and she's a part of the Hurt Syndicate in that aspect. And I think that can help her develop her character even more.
Okay. I like that. So those are all good suggestions. Like, I think Cedric could fit if he decides to come to AEW. I think Leo is a great choice. Like, initially, that's who I was thinking in my head. Ricochet would fit. Athena is a good fit as well. Like, I like that Athena call. I was going to say Mercedes, but she doesn't. Like, they really don't need each other. Like, I think they would work well together. Like, don't get me wrong, but they really don't need each other. Like, you're not really uplifting Mercedes because she's already lifted. So, Athena is somebody who could use that lifting, at least in terms of AEW, because we all know she's been putting in work for a minute in ROH, and nobody watches it because it's ROH, unfortunately. So I think that's a great call, Ray. I keep going back to Cedric, though, but here's the thing with Cedric, man. If I'm Cedric, I'm making sure TK give me a little extra, little line yay, as they say, Ray Williams. For the way you talked to my wife on New Year's Eve that one time.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I will sign the contract, Tony Khan, but it's gonna be a extra 0 or 2. But behind what you were originally offering me, just as for my pain and suffering that you put on my family. I think had he not left, my go-to guy outside of Leo was Ricky. Because I think Ricky would have been fantastic with them dudes, but we can't have nice things. And then I think another person you look at, but maybe he's too similar to Lashley. Although you could go the route of he's the next up, would be Powerhouse Hobbs, who's like somebody that we've been high on for a minute. So I think the goal, as Downtown was alluding to from their conversation with Chris Van Vliet, yes, they want to get their run in, but it doesn't help the culture if their run is just their run,
right?
And nobody gets brought along for the ride, and nobody gets elevated or amplified. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope we can get this Death Rider stuff out the way, man. Because honestly, everything that the Death Riders are getting, to me, that should be the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah.
They should be the ones running roughshod right now.
But it's sad to hear when Gerard, when you were talking about what Shelton was saying, that my ceiling was the tag team championship, and then he ended up the tag team champion at AEW. But hopefully there's more in the horizon. So
at least they let them show what he can do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more for him on the horizon, even from what they were speaking about. Singles gold, I think, is definitely, and I could easily see him taking that TNT title off of Danny Garcia. Easily. So, those two had a good couple matches in the C2, and then I think they had a little match after that as well. So they've already got some good chemistry together. Go ahead and give him that belt for a short run. But then somebody asked, hey, would you do you believe that you could be a world champion, or are you still wanting for that? And he's like, yeah, of course I would. And so I would love to see Shelton get that run. And I already feel like I'm about to be negative by just speaking the way I'm about to speak it. But if Claudio can get the ROH world title, why can't Shelton? At least for now. I feel like there's such a log jam for the AEW world title.
Yeah.
I feel like Swerve's on his way to a second run. Same with Hangman. I think Bobby's on the horizon.
I'll say, even within the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby's probably the next up versus Shelton.
Yeah, and I don't know when that comes in the cards for Shelton with that main title, but I could easily see Shelton winning a TNT title and then jumping up and winning an international title, because I really do feel like that's, even though TNT is supposed to be the secondary one for their company, international has just felt like the bigger belt and the more main event belt. I mean, think about it. Kenny's fighting for it at Revolution, and we could be looking at a unification of that in the Continental Championship coming all in against him and Okada. So, but it was a fun show, fun time to meet the brothers. I got a photo with them. Chris led a good interview with them, and the fans had some good questions as well, adding on there. And there's also some good people. Braden and Davey were there.
The Harrington brothers.
Yeah, the Harrington brothers were there. Also, it was just a cool crowd, cool experience. So, and a cool venue to see it in as well. So great.
Did you see Pollock there?
No, if Pollock was there, he was well hidden.
He was probably in the press box.
I would say he was well hidden, because Braden and Davey were up in this VIP kind of esque section. I paid for the middle tier where you didn't get reserved seats. So people who paid for the top tier got reserved seats. And so I'm sure that's why they were up there. But No, I didn't see John. I didn't see John at all. Also, is he on vacation right now?
Well, I was gonna say at this point, like, because John Pollock to me at this point, John is like, we all love John Pollock, but Davian Braden's energy for these live events, the capacity for the energy for the live events far surpasses John at this point in time. John is like, I'm on the clock, man. Like, like do what you gonna do, Travis Scott, so I can write it up.
But I mean, cool people there. Mojo Rawley was there, so it was a good. He was like the MC for the show.
Mojo.
He introduced Chris, and then Chris came out and did his thing, and then they came back out, and Mojo brought back out them, and then they all then brought out the Hurt Syndicate. It was a good little vibe. So
cool.
Now Toronto had a good little scene for wrestling this weekend.
University of Maryland, stand up, baby, stand up. Mojo,
Hey.
Mojo
and AJ Francis.
Okay. But speaking of top dollar, if you would like more of this type of content, there's one place you can go. You don't even have to spend top dollar. Just spend $5 or 10 or 20 or 100. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. That is where you can find all of our shows, video and audio form. That's where you can find series that have long since departed, like the full backlog of Keep It 100 with myself and Brian Mann from back in the day. It's also where you can find Ray Williams, the SBF Extra. Tell them about that SBF Extra, Ray.
Oh, well, I'm glad you brought that up, Brother Nate. Yes, so we all know in this space of combat sports that a lot can happen within a month. We experience it on a weekly and daily basis when it comes to the NWA and talking about professional wrestling. Well, the same is true about the sport of mixed martial arts. So I've been offering, and it's just been one for now, but I came out with just a little bit of extra stuff that happens. This most recent one was kind of just exploring the news of one UFC champion, Ilia Topuria, who was the former UFC featherweight champion, who had not had to, but chose to relinquish his belt in order to go up in weight. So that was a big bombshell that was dropped. But not only that, but a huge fighter that wasn't a part of the UFC before by the name of Patricio Pitbull Freire. He has now joined the UFC and will be facing a former featherweight champion in Yair Rodriguez.
Patricio been in the game for a little minute, though.
Yes, been in the game a long while. So, but he's finally in the UFC. And as if that wasn't enough, somebody's got to fight for the belt that that Topuria relinquished. So we got an announcement that the former champion who was deposed of by Ilia Topuria, one Alexander Volkanovski, will in fact be fighting against, I believe the name is escaping me. Oh, Diego Lopez, hot young up and comer. They'll be fighting each other for the vacant UFC featherweight championship. So I couldn't get all of that because it was within the span of 3 days after we had initially recorded the initial SBF podcast. So, and of course, I wasn't trying to wake up Chinyere Okafor. If you guys are not familiar, Chinyere Okafor is based out of South Africa, and she is 7 hours ahead of me on the East Coast. And the news had broken, and I actually done the extra, I believe, 10 p.m. my time, so it would have been 5 a.m. her time. So I wasn't trying to stress her.
Why are you calling me at this time, Ray?
I know.
Have you lost your mind, Ray Williams?
Oh man!
Shout out to the good sis, Chinyere.
Shout out to the maestro. But yeah, we're just dropping out trinkles, and it's only for the paid members of the Patreon. Exclusive. If anything that happens in between episodes, I'll go ahead and just drop little nuggets. It won't be 2-3 hours long. It'll be a tight 30-45 minutes. It was essentially an hour because I had been talking for like 25 minutes and then realized that my microphone was on mute. I was recording the entire time. So, but you guys don't get that part. You guys get the part that actually works. But yeah, patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. And you guys can get original content that Nate mentioned, including the more installments of SBF Extra.
That's right, Ray, because the game is to be sold and not told, brother.
Indeed.
So real quick, let's start to wrap things up because it is almost time for Monday Night Raw, fellas.
Indeed.
So let's just any final thoughts on Elimination Chamber and what are you excited about for tonight's show? Let's start with Brother Jay.
Good show overall. I mean, it over delivered for me. I really enjoyed the first time, quote unquote, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn again, right? So that fight was, I mean, it over delivered for me. The show honestly over delivered. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they string us along with the breadcrumbs with the Cena heel turn tonight. I'm sure that's going to be brought up like at least 10,000 times. I'm looking forward to the Rhea Ripley Io Sky match as well too, to get us back on track for the WrestleMania. And I thank you for inviting me, bringing me on, and looking forward to another conversation in the near future.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. Downtown Brown, who this past weekend was Downtown Brown, because that's how they say it up there. What do you make of the Elimination Chamber, brother, and what are you most excited for on tonight's Raw?
Elimination Chamber overall was an exciting show. For me as a fan, I was sitting at the Rogers Center last July, got in town for Money in the Bank, wanted to go see a Jays game. And I was sitting in there and I was just like, man, I would love to see a wrestling show in here. WrestleMania 18 was here. That Mania where they had Warrior and Hogan was here, and that's where Edge and Christian were in the crowd. I want to see a show in this arena. And for them to have Elimination Chamber, for me, to be blessed enough to be able to go and make that trip safely there and back was a ball. And
in record time.
Hey, in record time.
I don't know what international laws this brother broke to get home that fast.
Man, I do what I got to do. But what a ball. What an impactful show from Jade coming back, from Bianca re-entering the singles scene and going to challenge for the world title. To talk about what I'm most excited for tonight at Raw, I'm an Io fan. So I want to see, is Io going to make her way into this match, or is this what I think it is? Oh, right before Mania, I've never beat this person before. I need the credibility. So I'm going to just wash her real quick so that way I can move on to face Bianca. I feel that's what we're moving towards. But
yeah,
man, my last, like the Cena turn, and I think we also saw another heel come out tonight. I just don't think it was advertised, and it looks like a baby face, and it moves like a baby face, and it attacked another heel. I think Randy is a heel. I also don't. The reason why I think Cena loses at Mania is because I think we're going to lead to another tag team match where, it's going to be Randy and Cody versus somebody. Randy going to take Cody head off because Randy got taken out because of Cody's actions. And he said in that locker room, it's not a problem until you make it a problem. And he's constantly looked at that world title. I think Randy's taking that off of Cody. I don't think it's Cena. I think Cena does the redemptive route back.
Interesting.
But I think we saw another healing in Randy. So he's here to take care of his business with KO. Stay tuned for what he does after KO. That's what I'm most curious to see. But
interesting.
Thank you for the opportunity. A blessing as always to talk with the brothers and talk with some brothers about some pro wrestling.
No doubt, no doubt. That's our man on the ground, Downtown Brown, bringing you the live perspective of Elimination Chamber. And Ray, not to pull the curtain back too much, but Downtown had told me he was going to the show, and he's like, hey, I know you guys are starting around 5, so I may not be back in time. I'm like, cool. So I didn't check IG all day because I was working on something else. I went to go shoot him the link to say, like, hey, brother, whenever you get back, if you can make it, cool. If not, cool. And he already left me a message like, hey, dog, I'm back. I'm like, I don't know what kind of supersonic
time traveling.
Hang out with Barry Allen. What can I say?
Like, he just flew past all the Mounties. They was like, yo, Who was that? But Ray Williams, final thoughts on Elimination Chamber and anything you're hyped about for tonight.
First off, shout out to Piper Niven on Friday Night SmackDown. We're talking about Mounties. Oh, chef's kiss on that get up, sis. Chef's kiss, and who's actually, I believe, becoming kind of the same maximizer of minutes that Chelsea Green became within the last year. I think Piper is kind of like feeding off of that, and she's kind of letting her personality come out a little bit more. So shout out to you, sis. But in terms of the Elimination Chamber, I thought, again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I thought it was pretty much from top to bottom a great show. I know we didn't mention the tag team match with your Samoan queen, your Samoan princess,
a benevolent queen who decided to give the fans. She threw him a bone, Ray. She threw him a bone is what it's called. Like she gave him a treat because, and that's what I was going to talk about, Ray. Not to interrupt your close.
No, go ahead.
My prediction / spoiler is Tiffany Stratton, sis, you want to tighten some things up because you are not a babyface, my girl. The only reason you're a babyface is because you're going up against people that are less liked than you. And if that's the only thing that makes people cheer for you, it's not going to be sustainable. There's got to be something relatable. Like even in the video package that they showed before the match, right? Like everything this girl is saying is heel language.
Now, what is my name?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that line was awful.
It's like, the only reason we were cheering for you, or they were cheering for you, because I was cheering for Nia and them. But the only reason that crowd was cheering for you was because you were going against Nia Jax and because you were rolling with Trish Stratus. And so, like, the match was what it was. Like, honestly, it could have been a Raw match, but I get if you can get Trish Stratus, that goes on pay-per-view. But yeah, like, she's going to get cheered in the Charlotte match, I think, because people like Charlotte less than her. But after that, it's kind of, you got to do something to make me like you.
But I think people do like her. Like even when she was like a full heel and she had gotten the Money in the Bank briefcase, like people were cheering. Like you were hearing it's Tiffy time chat. Like I think what was in the war, it was in women's war games, not like last year, but even before that, or the Elimination Chamber or something she was in where the crowd was just, I think they were in Australia. I think it was that Elimination Chamber. Like the crowd was just going crazy over her. And so I think the fans do like her and they want to see her come up. I did think that she still does have to show like an actual change in her demeanor, because even at the end, I don't know if you guys peeped this, but even at the end, when she was getting up to do the prettiest moonsault ever, Trish was kind of on the apron a little bit. She just nudged Trish off with her foot, like kind of kicked her off, like get out the way so I can get the shine. Like, get out of here. So it's like even that, I'm like, this girl, she still got like an attitude. But I would like to see her fully change. But again,
I think it's either got to be one or the other. Like you either got to change the attitude or lean into it.
Maybe lean
like if you're gonna be the asshole that we like.
I think you're gonna get Rhea Charlotte WrestleMania 39, because if you go back to that, Rhea was a heel going in.
Yeah.
And Charlotte was the face. But yet people booed the mess out of Charlotte because people liked Rhea even as the entertaining heel. So I think that's what you're going to get at WrestleMania 41 is just that same repeat. And then we'll just revert back to heel Tiffany, because to me, there's so much more gas in that tank. And it's such an unearned babyface turn. Yes, we love her. We love her energy, but we love a lot of heels.
It's like the Bayley babyface turn from last year's WrestleMania. Like we all love Bayley, like the person. Like we love Bayley, the person.
Right.
But the character did nothing to redeem herself. Like you just got kicked out of your group. Like you were David Ruffin, you were Bobby Brown. Like now I'm supposed to cheer for you.
Just desserts. I can't feel bad for you. You got the receipt finally came home. Right. I can't be bad. I don't feel bad for Tiffany. Like the fact that Tiffany was hanging by Nia to literally get her championship, and Nia was using her to keep her. Y'all both toxic. Y'all both messed up. So like, I don't feel bad for either of y'all. But who I do feel bad for, and what they better do right by the queen, I hope it's Trish and Nia at Mania. because Nia needs a match at Mania because Nia's had a stellar year.
Yes.
She does not deserve to be buried in a multi-person match. She deserves some type of highlight thing. And I think Trish is going to go on to face, I think, a spoiler alert, I think Tiff beats Charlotte because I think she needs to beat Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I don't think Charlotte needs to win now. And I think, save that so then you can have Tiff and Trish later on down the line for that title.
Okay.
Because Charlotte already had that match with Trish. So we don't need to do that again. And same with Becky. So give Tiff her moment now.
But Gerard, don't you want to see Charlotte and John Cena both gain their 17th championship victory and with the arbitrary championship numbers that don't really mean anything? Don't you want to see that happen on WrestleMania weekend?
I did not pay so I can see Charlotte win. Look, I tried to be I'm a very respectful wrestling fan, but look, I paid. I flew to LA. I did not want to see you the first time, Charlotte. But okay, I shut up. I ate my just desserts. Phenomenal match with you and Rhea.
Yes,
you won that. I was sitting there, and Indy, the second she won that Rumble, I'm like,
Like the problem with Charlotte is never the in ring. Like it's never the in ring with Charlotte. It's the character.
Yeah.
Stop pushing her so hard.
Yes.
Send her down the card and let her develop character. Then send her back. Her character can be, but then you get the result you get if her character is I win. All I do is win.
Right.
She needs a talking mouthpiece. That's what she needs. She needs somebody to sell her accolades for her because her doing it on the mic by herself just ain't getting it really.
No.
But I was gonna try to throw it because we did have our esteemed other king of sport join us briefly, but there he is. All right, so but yeah, I thought the show was great, and I think even the in-betweens wasn't that bad, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about Sammy versus Kevin, but I thought that was a great match, and I thought Kevin won. He should have won. So I thought all in all it was a great show. But let's go ahead and throw it to the other king of sport who probably just told everybody it was a snow day because he's joining us again. But Professor Ely.
Hold on. You ain't taught them kids already, Chris.
Yeah, I did actually.
You ain't teach them kids, Chris.
I gave my lecture in, what was it, 30 minutes or so?
Damn, Chris cut a promo on him and left.
Yeah. So I gave them a full lecture. Yeah.
Damn. Hey, Chris. So you came back just in time. We're kind of wrapping things up, and one of the points we were talking about is that tag team match, which was just kind of an okay match. Like I get why it's on the card because you have Trish Stratus, but when we're looking at Tiffany Stratton. We were all kind of talking about the match with Charlotte, and I'm like, yeah, Tiffany's going to get cheered against Charlotte because people ain't really rocking with Charlotte right now. But this character, they need to do something with Tiffany's character, either like, in my opinion, lean into the heel stuff, full throttle, or do something that shows that she's grown as a character. Because as Gerard said a few minutes ago, like the only reason we're cheering for you is because you left the other bad girl that you were hanging out with. Like you haven't become a good girl. You still bad. You just ain't with her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
and we ain't forgot about what you did with that Jade Cargill video, but that's not here.
Never forget.
Yeah. I mean, it's WWE. I do think, and I think Tiffany would benefit more by beating Charlotte at WrestleMania. That's what I would have happen. I don't think that's happening. I do think that they care about the stupid. How many reigns has she had, Charlotte?
16, I think. I think she's either at 15 or 16, but she's up.
Yeah, they want to tell that story, so I think that's what they're gonna do.
What I tell you.
Yeah, but that match was not the greatest in my opinion.
Nia Jax couldn't even save it.
But like that match was the way it was because you didn't have an authentic baby face, and you also don't have an authentic connection to my mentor.
Since
when?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that the crowd in Toronto kind of knew this, and I think the Toronto crowd is smart enough to like know, all right, you all are just bringing Trish out as break glass in case of emergency, right? You don't have her tied to anything significant or useful, and we're not gonna play along with this. And I applaud them for not doing that.
So you saying the only person that was feeling Tiffany that night was Drake? It's like, come on, Crody. It's like she's with Trish. She's a good guy. Come on, Fam. Get cheese and Fam.
Yeah. Did they even acknowledge?
No, they did not. He was behind the damn announcer's desk, and they showed every other celebrity in the crowd. They showed Stephen Amell's brother. They showed Travis Scott. They showed my man
Robbie Amell is his cousin.
Yes, Robbie. Robbie Amell, the cousin. And then they like Drake. You could see Drake behind Cole and McAfee. Never once did they say that man's name.
That's when you know you cooked. That's when you know you cooked.
He was John Cena. I didn't see him. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't know he was there.
Like he was there. He was like
in the chamber. Logan Paul wrote OVO.
Yeah.
That was confirmation for me. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, Drake was in the building and nobody cared except for Logan Paul.
Well, I think he wants it that way. I mean, the one place where Kendrick can't taunt him or berate him. Like,
that would have been a great time for one of those musical malfunctions that the audio issues Gerard was talking about, and somebody just Crody, what's going on? I heard that song again, Crody.
And that's the thing too. Like this man couldn't even go to the Oscars. They were talking about
when and I love Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien to me is one of my favorite late night hosts of all time. But when Conan O'Brien is on these streets making jokes about you on the Oscars, it's like, come on, my boy. Like just go home. Don't put out no more records for the year. Just lay low. Stay in Toronto.
Your people love you there.
But yeah, I like. My final thought on Elimination Chamber, I thought it was a good show from top to bottom, even with that match. Like, if that tag team match is the worst match of the night, it's still a decent match, right? Like, it's not a terrible match. We've seen much worse. But the bookends of those two chamber matches, I think both were excellent. The Jade return was done well. Sammy and Kevin. The only thing it was missing was blood, but I get why they didn't do it because we had to save the blood for Cody. But that was a great match between those two. The Randy return was cool. And then that men's chamber match, like it took a while to kind of get into that second gear, but once it got there, when we start getting those pairings with Cena and Punk and Seth, and you see a lot of these dudes losing because they can't get out of their own way. They can't let this beef go. They can't let this feeling go. And so, like, you know, like I said on the other night with Way, like they could have used Sam Wilson there to counsel them and work through some of this stuff. You got a lot of internalized issues, Seth Rollins. Why you keep stomping on these people's heads, brother? Pettiness. But nobody's more petty than Chris. Chris sent a $20 super chat just to laugh at me and Way. Like, ha, I was right. Here's $20. Like, I mean, thank you for the $20, Chris, but damn, dog. But then that closing angle, like where we started tonight's show, is like where I'll end my thoughts on Elimination Chamber. Like it was, and I mentioned it on social media, like there are a few times when the things that you love, meaning, you know, whether it's your favorite sports team or your favorite film franchise or your favorite musician, your favorite performer, like there's few times when the thing that you love loves you back in the same way. And that's the feeling I had with the Cena heel turn. It's like, yeah, this wrestling business, which Chris has often referred to as a trash industry, like very rarely, like there's good matches. Like we get good matches all the time. Like you could throw a rock and hit a good match these days. There's good characters, good promo work, but very rarely do things coalesce in a way that they did for that Cena heel turn, where it's like, oh damn, like I'm actually watching something that is not just going to be cool for a week or for a month or two. Like this is historical. What they did last Saturday night, and so like I was very happy, like pleasantly surprised, because again I thought this was going to be a good show, but nothing that I'd be talking about 10 years from now if I'm around in 10 years. But yeah, like I had a good time with Elimination Chamber. Cena, if you want to go 50-50, hell, I'll even go 30-70 with you on them Break-A-Wish Foundation shirts. When you crushing these kids' dreams, hit us up, man. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. We can work something out. But yeah, like I was already excited for Cody and Cena, even if it was the babyface matchup. But this dynamic to me makes it a must-see match. So I think they did everything well.
Right. I had time to sit on this, and I think Cena's heel turn is the second greatest heel turn of all time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I still have to give number one to Hollywood
Terry.
And then Shawn Michaels for the longest time was my number two greatest heel turn of all time, just because of what it created after the turn, because I don't think anybody, Shawn, they built to it nicely. He was turning for weeks. And then when he, put dude through the barbershop window, it was big, and it meant a lot for Shawn Michaels. Yeah. But this Cena one does usurp that, man. Yes. It really does, because I just don't. I think everyone had given up on it. John and Wade gave up on this a long time ago. I maintain the minute he came back in 2017, goofing off at that WrestleMania, I was like, if this dude doesn't turn heel eventually, then what's this point of even coming back? Because all he's gonna do is come back and just be goofy,
Right.
Yeah.
And they gonna give us a hell of a story, because like I said, man, Cody Rhodes, one of the best storytellers of this generation. Then you throw in Cena, you throw in Rock, you throw in Travis Scott, whatever elements you want to add to the pot. Randy Orton, as Gerard mentioned, is a possibility out there. We might see some Triple H involvement. Who knows where this road can lead? But I do know one thing. It is almost time for Monday Night Raw, presented by Netflix. So we're going to get the hell out of here. We appreciate everybody for watching this episode. Again, man, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to the network on Patreon, because, we're trying to build out and do some more things. Not only do we have Gerard and Jay, we ain't got no NWO shirts yet, so y'all just going to have to make them up like in your own basement or something in Nefarious gear. We ain't got with Dickie Bird on that yet. But besides these brothers, we have a couple other people we're talking to. So, we trying to be like the Hurt Syndicate on these streets and just expand, because that's what's best for business, fellas. Am I sowing the breadcrumbs for my heel turn? But yeah, if you want to hear more from me about my thoughts on Elimination Chamber, like match by match, check out Post Wrestling, where you can find Wei Ting and I talking about it the other night, and Chris sending in his $20 petty super chat. And also check out Post tonight, because I know John and Ray gonna have a banger of a show tonight, breaking all this stuff down. And they did something pretty cool. They dropped earlier today, the Queen of the Ring, Karen Peterson, did an interview with two of the actresses from Queen of the Ring, which, like, we talked about Robbie Amell, who is the cousin of Stephen Amell, who was the Green Arrow. The main character in Queen of the Ring is portrayed by Emily Bett Rickards, who played Felicity Smoke on Arrow. Okay, and then if you follow the Arrow, Chris, it points to a sign. It's two golden arches. Travis Scott and John Cena are waiting for you at McDonald's with Angel Reese. Open your eyes. I
can't wait to get the John Cena value bill.
Yo, ain't gonna be no value meal with John Cena. Like, why is the value meal $20? Damn, John. You really are a heel.
He's already got his sandwich for McDonald's, though. He
got
it on
sandwich, yeah. So
no. On Kai's show, I only know this because I saw it on a TikTok and it made me go do it, because I'm a fiend at times for food. He said, "Fiend." It's all on brand. It's all on brand. What can I say? But he was like, "You take the chicken patty Big Mac.
Okay.
You take the regular Big Mac. You take a half of that. You take a half of the other one, and you put it together. That's gonna be his sandwich. They're literally going to offer that as the sandwich." At McDonald's. I'm telling you, watch it, clip it.
That John Cena meal is gonna fly off the shelves. But real quick before we get out of here, let's go around the horn one last time to I got main event Jay Lacey on these streets. Jay, first of all, thank you for making time, brother. And this will not be the last time we chop it up with you, my man. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, I do have a Blue Sky account. I just haven't activated it. I got a Mastodon account, have not activated it. I am on X, though, at JayLace. That's JEYLACE. I post sporadically, so if you want to follow me, go for it. That's all I got. But thanks again for the opportunity, and looking forward to talking with you guys again.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you, brother. Downtown Brown, what you got for the people, man? Besides these wonderful theories, like Chris missed it, the Randy Orton theory. You'll have to go back and watch the show to hear the Randy Orton theory. But anything you want to plug, brother?
Well, I got my channel, Headcanon Graps, that I do fan theories and my own little headcanon that I seem to be living in. I put that out into vision. I put that into videos with different clips and whatnot, explaining what I'm talking about. I also talk on Wrestle Hook. It's a podcast me and a former coworker and I do, and been doing it since I think last July. And so we'll be doing that we usually do it every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And so check out for us tomorrow covering the chamber as well. And check out Headcanon Graps as well for me doing some more breakdowns about Elimination Chamber and my final thoughts on where this is going to take us to Mania, because I think Mania and the fallout of that will be very, very interesting.
No doubt. Good stuff, brother. Appreciate you. You know, Ray, my mind is always working in podcast brain. So when he's talking about, the theories that he's got over there at Headcanon Graps, I'm like, dog, we need to do a crossover one week where it's Gerard and Chris, and they both give it like you heard of string theory, Ray? This is ring theory with Chris and Gerard. And Gerard's like, well, you see when you do this and you apply this application. And Chris is like, I understand, brother, but have you looked at the poster? You look at where Randy Orton is situated in the upper right quadrant of the poster. He's looking down at John Cena, but he can't see Cena. Just an hour of wrestling theory with them two would be amazing.
I actually think the name of the wrestling podcast should be Ring Theory.
Like this. Okay. This is the final edition of the Ringside Rap, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. It's done. Next time, welcome to Ring Theory. Ray's gonna have to Google to make sure ain't nobody else got that. But
I'll copyright that shit.
Yeah, right. That's a hell of a name, though.
That is
Ring Theory. Ray Williams, what you got going on besides SBF and SBF Extra, and where can people find you on social media?
I mean, that's pretty much it. You can find me right here. Yeah, right here on the Nefarious Means, Kings of Sport, the now newly christened Ring Theory podcast, SBF with the aforementioned Maestro Chichi Okafor. You can find me on social media right below. If you guys are watching on the video, at Mondo Dondo 1 on Twitter /X and Instagram. You can also follow me on Blue Sky at Two Way Ray.
Ray Williams, ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for one of the greatest producers in the game right now. And Ray, again, my condolences for your childhood hero turning on you, but it's gonna be all right, Ray. It's gonna be all right.
As long as Cope don't turn on me, then
as long as Cope don't turn, and as long as Corey J doesn't get released, you be all right. Ray gonna crash out for real if Corey J gets released. That's a wrap. No comment, Ray Williams.
If they allow her to be free, or if that allows her to be like Mandy Sachs and open up some fan accounts, then I mean, I'm all for it, brother. I'm all.
This man spending his whole nefarious check on the account.
We appreciate your candor, man.
Keeping it a buck right now.
Keeping it a buck.
Like, Ray, you done took all the Patreon money and spent it on the Cora Jade account, brother.
They go to Lexus card note.
Right. It's gonna be like that scene in what was it? It wasn't Do the Right Thing. It was Jungle Fever with Sam Jackson playing Gator. And like, Gator, where's the television? Mama, I'd have smoked up the TV because I'm a crackhead. That's gonna be Ray Williams. Like, Ray, what happened to the Patreon money? Ain't no more Patreon money. You know I do it. You know I do it. Because I'm addicted to Cora Jade. Hey, we all have our vices, Ray Williams. We listen and we don't judge, brother. Chris Ely. Besides lecturing these kids in between your podcasts, what else you got going on, brother?
Nothing else, man. I'm just rooting for my Lakers. That's one.
Second place.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And I think we got it this year. I'm calling it.
What? You calling the chip?
Calling the chip.
Oh,
my
wow.
goodness.
Wow.
I was already right about us reaching second place. We still haven't, it's not permanently sealed yet, but it's gonna be etched in stone soon. And then we're gonna get that 6. We're gonna get that ring, number 18 tie with the Celtics again. And yeah, just that's what I'm looking forward to. I already did my plugs earlier, so I don't need to do it.
Here's the thing, Ray. I would tell him he crazy because I predicted like the ceiling for this Lakers team until they make some adjustments in the offseason. I thought it was like Western Conference Finals, maybe. But you know what? I'm not gonna say that the Lakers aren't gonna win a championship because then 6 months from now, Chris is going to send a super chat into our own show for $20. Say I was right. I'm like, Chris, you could have just said that on air. I don't know why you went through the trouble.
Well, maybe like the more egregious you disagree, the bigger the
super chat.
It'll be a $50 super chat.
The thing is, Jonathan Way for the last 2 years was acting like I was like
Chris on John's neck
because I said that Johnson was going to turn heel or needs to turn heel. That was a crazy person. Like, what the fuck, man?
Chris.
You gotta open your mind, yo.
Chris said he has been vindicated.
Yes, I have been.
When Cena stood on Cody's neck, Chris felt something in that moment like, yeah, John, I told you.
Pollock ain't gonna let us down.
I told you.
I did. Exactly that. Exactly how that with the grit teeth. I told you that like that. Yeah.
Hey, it's all love, Joe Poe. We still love you, brother.
Yeah. Much love to the proprietors.
As for me, obviously here at Nefarious, you can check me out here with the fellas and the ladies because we got a lot of talented women here, in particular Jennifer Smith, Brittany Monet, and Yeri Okafor, and we've got a mystery lady that might be joining us soon. I don't know why my voice got all seductive right there.
Feeding the duck voice.
That's our feeding ducks on the pond voice.
Nefarious After Dark.
Nefarious After Dark. The secret is we're always dark, ladies and gentlemen. Like we're building something here, and we're only a month and some change in. And so just the growth I've seen through our shows and through our collaborations and kind of the community that we're starting to build here. I'm excited for it. So yeah, if y'all want to be a part of this on the ground floor, hop in on that Patreon, patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network, and show some love. At least try it out for a month. If you rock with it, keep it going. If not, no harm, no foul. At least you gave us a shot. So socials, I'm on Blue Sky, Nate Mosaic 757. I'm on X. I'm not on X. I'm on Twitter. Mama called it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter. At Nate Mosaic, and I'm on IG at Black Nate, BLAQUE_N8, because I wanted to make it easy for people to remember. It's not complicated at all. But yeah, for everything else, man, just follow us on socials. Follow the Nefarious IG, Nefarious Blue Sky, Nefarious YouTube, because we're building something and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Next week, because we do shows every Monday. At least that's what we're doing for the time being. Next week, I think the next thing we've got planned is what, Ray Williams?
Oh, here we go again. I think we're gonna have our traditional flagship Kings of Sport podcast coming up.
Yeah, I think we might even be sitting down with Justin Goodrum and maybe even Matt from Hoopsology to talk all the big NBA news. Because JG did want to talk about the Luka trade when it happened, but we couldn't make schedules work. So next week, Kings of Sport. The week after that, it will probably be either the Parlay or the Avengers Initiative. And then the week after that, Spinning Black Fist. Styles Break Fights. Back in your face, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. We got all this plans, and we got it in order. Look at the organizational skills coming together, right?
Indeed.
So yeah, just check us out, man. We not going anywhere, and well, technically we are going somewhere right now because this is the end of the Ringside Wrap, aka Ring Theory, patent pending. But for Ray, for Jay, for Downtown, and for the Professor, I'm the Godfather, Nate Milton. And if you're looking for us to apologize for anything we've said, if you're looking to us to take back anything we've said on this episode, Terry Bollea, if you're looking at us to walk back any of the statements we made, you just can't see us. That sounded better in my head than in execution, but hey, it is what it is, man. We got to go watch this wrestling. So for the fellas, I'm the Godfather. We'll see y'all next time.
Amazon, what time is it?